All right, guys, how's it going? Welcome back for another exciting episode of Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. Getting closer to the season, man. We got what, like 2 weeks left? Oh
Not
man,
even.
not even, right?
Probably
So
less than that.
yeah, so
Thursday night game is September 5th between Kansas City and Baltimore.
oh yeah, I got Thursday and a Friday night game. So we'll ramp up to that. Thank you guys for joining us. This is episode 13, episode 12, I believe. So we're gonna do our second mock draft. We got a couple people that are supposed to be joining in. Hopefully
Mike's
they'll join
already-
in. What was that?
Mike's already in there.
Is he?
Yep.
I didn't see his dot on there. But anyway, if they're in there, we'll go ahead and pull that over. But I'll go ahead and get this Cash App and this Manscaped promo out of the way. Just want to try to do things a little differently and see how we can get things going. So we'll get that, and then we'll come back and jump into the draft.
Take note of this sponsorship video, guys. There's codes on there. If you're not on Cash App, you can use the code to download and add funds to your first deposit. And with Manscaped, you can never go wrong. Take a look at these advertisements, guys. Take advantage while you can.
Exactly. Listen to Shawnee. You want to stay silky smooth, so you want to Manscaped will get you there, get 20% off.
Silky smooth.
Right, and Cash App's the easy way to get money transferred when you're out with friends. So here we go. We'll jump into that, and then we'll get back to it.
Bring them things, I call the plug, bring them things.
That's money. That's cash up.
Forever you and me, right by my side, where you ought to be. 'Cause if I ever were to lose you, I just don't know what I'd do. Let me hear you now.
Oh,
Oh.
that's new.
Yeah, we lost our host.
Yeah, my computer went haywire. Can you guys see me? Let's
No,
see.
you're just
He's like, screw you guys. I'll draft by myself.
you're like a talking disc.
Yeah, I don't know what happened
There
there.
he is.
Yeah, my green
Yeah.
screen's not working.
It's like an
Let's see if we
iron.
get it back up.
Oh
You guys
my
just seeing
God.
behind the
Oh,
scenes?
snap.
Secrets are being
Oh,
found
shit.
out right now. You're a green.
Oh,
You
well.
got Kermit back there.
Wow.
bro?
I mean,
Oh, well.
give us an MTV Cribs walkthrough, man.
I
Yeah.
got mountains for my background today.
Yeah, so, and then we got Krish in the background, too. So I'll go ahead and bring him on. Krish, my bad, leaving you back there. What's up, man?
Guys, how you doing?
You
What's
just
going
don't hide
on?
it.
Damn,
This
I ain't seen him in a minute.
Right, got one of the powerhouse hosts from Shady Sports on here. Yeah, so, Krish, I see, did you join in on the draft? Are you...
Yeah, I'm in the draft. I'm on my phone, but yeah. I
Okay.
have it up.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and transfer it. I'll go ahead and pull that screen up, and we'll go ahead and get that started. We see we got a few other people in there. There we go. We see we got Grayson, my coworker Grayson in there. We got Mike, who was on with the foosball fantasy draft on there. So let me see if I can get
sent him
that
a
pulled up.
message. Jeb, you logged off again, bro.
I don't know what's going on, so maybe I'll just pull the draft up. But you know, I've been getting messages from my Xfinity all day. So maybe
Saying what? Pay your bill?
nah. Well, the internet's just not the best around here, so I guess it's been going in and out. So I'll just pull this up, and then we'll just go ahead and get that going.
Oh no! All right, no worries, but we can still hear
Yeah,
you
man.
loud and clear. Just so you know, we can still hear you
Exactly. I
perfect.
still got it going. Even when it doesn't seem like it's going, Shawnee is still working, so we're good.
Yeah, baby.
You know what I mean? So, I got the draft on there. We'll go ahead and pull that up, and then we'll get that started. Krish, I don't see you on my end, but I'm guessing it's because you just downloaded Sleeper. We kind of went through the same thing with Justin the other day, so on a mock draft. So we'll go ahead and randomize the order.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Grayson gets the first pick with that
I thought we
randomized.
already did that.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do it while I was on the stream, so now we just did it again, Shawnee, and it's
You
good to
just
go,
took away
right?
my pick, bro.
Oh man, no one cares about your pick, buddy. It's a mock draft. You gotta be ready to go. Do you need to do your pick again, Shawnee?
Man.
What's up, Sam? All right.
What up?
Oh, you threw him all the way down to 9.
Oh, change it, bruh.
That's
All
damn.
right. So we'll get into it. Hopefully, I haven't talked to Grayson, so hopefully he's looks like he got his pick in. CMC number
Oh yeah.
1. Oh, it's on me.
CMC
Man,
time.
I'm gonna.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
I knew that's where Jem was going.
You-
'Cause right then, that's where Mike would have taken him to. He wanted him in that last draft we had, so he took advantage. I knew you were
You
going St.
dirty
Brown. That's a good
dog.
pick.
Well, it was either him, Tyreek, or Bijan.
No, dude, St. Brown
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
best pick right there, besides Bijan or AJ.
Yeah. And I got oh, you guys can't even see me. God.
That's
I don't know what's going on here.
you're hiding.
I know. Oh. Yeah, no, I was working on. I'm gonna get an external hard drive so I can put some of the stuff on here. I feel like I got so much on my computer.
Uh-oh, Mike's not logged on right now, so he's going to auto-draft.
Oh, man.
Crap. I should have waited a little bit longer.
On our league, so, and I tagged him, so if he's available, he should answer.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
He's got a lot going on, that dude.
Yeah.
He's
Hey,
got like
Christian.
15 leagues.
Chris, are you backstage?
No. I think I'm in. I think I'm in.
I think he's in. It looks like he's in.
Well, I was gonna say
On my
backstage here because I think I'm gonna jump off and try to jump back on
Okay, yeah, I got
on my computer.
Go ahead, bud.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then I'll be back. So you guys stay.
I can always pause the draft if needed.
Yeah.
Whose pick is it?
Yeah, Sed didn't take Amon Ra there. That's definitely who I was going to go with, but I'm more than happy settling with Tyreek Hill. It's not too much of a
Yeah,
downgrade.
that's not a settle. That's not a settle at all.
Yeah. A little cheeky move to do that to me, though. He doesn't even like the Lions. Poor bastard.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys take a
kinda
look at all the
surprised,
cut lists today.
that Bijan is so high up on the list, and I mean Bijan's a great player, but like with Kirk Cousins and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I don't see what his role in the offense is going to be as prominent as it was last year. That's my only thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last season with the different head coach, they were punishing him for fumbles and taking him out during the whole game, and the game script didn't call for him. Now that they got a new game script going and they got a quarterback with, you know, above mediocre skill, I mean, the least he can do is dump it off to him. With Bijan's hands being so sure, him being that dual threat, anything is better than the season he had last season. So I think they're just basing that on talent and volume. So I mean, it's really what it is.
I see what you mean. And I see Kyron Williams is like high up on the list too, but like he's going to be a kick returner this year. So
Yeah, that's some crazy news to come out, man. That's a dangerous position.
Oh,
to
really?
Starting running back in. Those special team guys on those returns are looking to hurt people.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you want to put your starting running back in that situation, but obviously the coach sees something he wants. I got my boy.
Oh,
AJ
wow.
Brown.
I just got a lag. We're now 5 pictures away.
I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be a dangerous like pick this year too in the later rounds. I feel like he can provide a lot of value on the back end.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, he'll be the QB's best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Dalvin Cook just went to Dallas for a visit. So if they sign him, that Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook duo could be pretty dangerous down in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Zeke,
For
I
sure.
think running the show is like the whole thing. You know, I don't think that he's really got anybody, you know, nipping at his heels. So if he
I'm
keeps
super.
that down
So
roll,
one thing I'm really confused about, and I think it's a good time to bring it up, is Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. Like, I
yeah,
want to draft one
Mhm.
of them, but like, who? You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I know
I think
Pollard
it's
for hands, and he's a better dual.
mhm.
It's just like who's the ball more. You know, who's going to play more? Who's going to get the red zone? You know, who's going to get the goal line?
Mm-hmm. I got a sneaky feeling that it's going to be a hot hand situation, whoever is running hot, because there's really not much separation between the two of them from what I've gathered so far in what they've done. But it's also Tennessee. Anything could happen really there. I mean, it all depends on how well Will Levis plays too, because if he's not throwing the ball well to his receivers and whatnot, they're going to have to rely on that running game a whole lot more. Oh
Yeah.
wow, it's my pick.
Yo,
Hey, bud, welcome back.
I guess I'm just going too hard for the radio or something. I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
But
We were just talking about different team backfields and who we think is going to be, you know, taking
it looks
advantage
like
of their situation where they're at, and you know who might be dogging. But Chris brought up Ramondre, and it was crazy because I watched today that the Patriots actually cut Damian Harris. So I mean, Zeke really got nobody.
Mhm.
Or Ramondre really got nobody nipping at the heels, man. So that's like the whole Pats backfield right there, and the value you're getting them at was what you brought up, and I agree 100%. Getting him
oh,
on
it's
the
my pick.
draft, that's probably one of the best values you can get.
yeah,
And then
certainly.
I see him
Nick out here is asking.
Pollard or both go towards the back end of drafts too. So I think people are having a lot of the same feelings as us when it comes to those two, taking at least one of them.
Mm.
Jem taking Puka.
Yeah.
Grayson's grabbing Drake.
Man, I feel
Justin
like Drake's
grabbing Henry. That was going to be. Oh yeah, I took Barkley over Henry just because.
I can't believe he slid past you. I was like, I'm definitely going to take him then.
who, Henry?
Yeah, I'm
But
going
I
for
don't
a
want.
volume build right now. I got Tyreek Hill just feeding in the wide receiver room and Derrick Henry in my running back room.
Yeah, I don't. I got a plan right now, and I don't want to. I can't have Baltimore's running back as
And
well.
I think you should, honestly, like another good late round pick, I forgot to mention is Zamir White. I think
Zamir
Zamir White
White?
is crazy to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jem, you gonna go tight end right now, or are you gonna keep it rolling?
Do it. Grab that Heine.
Kelsey and Laporta. Yeah,
Oh,
I knew it.
you doubling up on lines. You're doing this for all right.
Jem,
That's
you've
cool.
been getting
That's cool.
Laporta consistently in drafts, bro.
I like Laporta, man. Laporta came
Yeah.
through for me last season.
You definitely.
Yeah, I like to see you relying on.
He's been
Lions
coming to you
fan.
consistently.
Well, I'm trying to log on to my
Nick,
sleepers.
if you want to throw out your team, bro, we will definitely rate it 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's trying to get that up there.
Yeah,
Feel
definitely.
free to let us know who you got on your starting roster.
Oh, how do you all feel about Joe Mixon?
I personally am okay with him. I don't see him being flash and like Derrick Henry level, but he's not going to be no scrub. I think he might just get lost in that offense from week to week because Stroud's going to have to feed those wide receivers and Dalton Schultz. I mean, he's going to have the volume. I don't see Dameon Pierce competing with him for touches too much or opportunities. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's the main workhorse there, and he'll just clean up whatever, Stroud doesn't leave on the table for him as far as throwing to the wide receivers. I think he could be a sneaky good late round pick, but I don't see him being any more than my running back 2 or a flex.
Who are you talking about, Justin?
Joe Mixon.
Oh, yeah. Houston's got a lot going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got my stack. I got A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, and I was able to pick up Mike Evans in between. I ain't mad.
You also have Saquon Barkley, so you kind of have the Trinity force of Eagles.
Well, yeah.
Oh man,
That's
back
why I
to
was
me.
thinking about going Henry instead, but
Well, I guess Nick isn't gonna post his team up. Nick Forrest, if you want to put your team up, man, we'd love to see what it looks
That's
like.
probably a
Yeah,
lot to type.
absolutely.
He's probably just typing out all the players.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Don't know how deep that bench is or that roster.
Yeah,
He just
that's
has a
why I said
10-team
just go
league.
with the starting roster to make it easy on
Yeah.
himself. But he's probably got
Mhm.
some good bench stashes. Okay, it's a
And he
10
just
team,
drafted
10
too, so
man
yeah.
team.
Okay.
So what do you guys think is your prime number? I know we talked about this once before, but what do you feel is a good number for a league when putting it together?
Like number of like flex
Like number of
spots.
players.
10 or 12.
I would say about the same. I like 8, honestly, 8 to 10.
I like
That's
8,
why our
but
8-team league is so fun, man, because it's always so close because with an 8-team league, it's all talent. You know, even your bench is relevant.
Oh, it's my
You know,
pick.
but with 10, you got to spread it out a little more and you got to know who your sleepers are and you got to play the waiver better. That's why, you know, anybody
Yeah.
who loves fantasy football for loving it like they do, they don't respect the small man leagues. They respect the bigger leagues because you got to have more talent, you got to have more time, and you got to have the ability to play out your roster the way that you should week to week on the waiver wire. But 8's always more fun because, yeah, I mean, your numbers are bigger every week. You got more players to pick from on the waiver wire. And it's always, you know, I mean, Jeb, how many in our 18 league, how many weeks have come down to 1 point or less?
A lot of
A lot,
And then you see
bro. And
like flips
that's what makes
too.
it so fun.
Yeah, like you'll see like a player like you know, they've been down and out a couple weeks in the season and they just come through and turn it around, you know, just by adding a player off the waiver wire.
Yep, for sure.
Because you have those options too. Like with less players, you have more options to pick up players from the waiver wire. You can dive deeper into the waiver wire, I guess you could say.
But I mean, the team you draft originally too is usually just like, you know,
It's pretty
it's
bug.
hard to find any slouches when
Yeah.
you're drafting an 18 league.
I personally feel like doing it as long as I have been doing it, I kind of like the challenge of a 12 or a 14 because then I get to really challenge myself with how I'm drafting my team and being more analytical and decisive with my picks and just the level of competition. It's almost like a good blend too, because in the 8 team, everyone's got talent, everyone's got good teams. But in the 12 to 14 team leagues, you also got that separation of like one player can be the difference between you losing by a point or two because injuries happen and just the depth you don't draft onto your bench as well as somebody else.
Absolutely.
But like, I don't think there's like I mean, 16 is kind of ridiculous, and I think 6 or 4 is kind of a little too light on the teams.
I've never even heard of that. I've never seen a 4 or 6 man league.
Yeah, I see like some people, like some family leagues, just do like 6 or 4. Yeah.
See, that's insanity, man. That's insanity. I feel like I'd be able to pick that apart and win every time.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it before, and I've been invited to leagues like that, and I've turned them down because it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Anything less than 8 just seems a little bit too crazy for me.
But you know, I'll tell you this right now. This 8-team league has definitely been my favorite, and now my Dynasty league has become my favorite simply because of the fact that there's so much involved in it. You know, with the linebacker, defensive line, and defensive backs. And, you know, you have your starting roster, but then every year you're drafting just like the NFL, you're drafting rookies, adding that aspect to it and just doing different leagues. That has, you know, kind of changed my perspective. And I love the Dynasty a lot. But this 18 league is still like my favorite league just because of the level of competition. You know, when you're in a
Mhm.
league that's been going on for 5 seasons with the same 8 people, and it's consistently competitive and just, as fun as it's been, it just makes it that much better. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, and it should just be like a keeper league too. Um, I think that would be fun. I think I like the keeper league. I like the dynasty league. I like seeing how your team develops over time.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, for me, I personally have been doing more dynasty leagues this year than I have redraft, but I still like them both styles. It's just, I get a little bit of different variety. Like the drafts are wildly different between redraft and dynasty for me. There's players that in redraft that are here in rounds, whereas in dynasty, there's either long gone or not being drafted for another few rounds.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit bummed that
Grayson
Aaron
logged
Jones
off,
didn't
but
make it
Mike
to me.
logged on.
Grayson logged off. Wasn't with his team. He had C-Mac, Drake London, A-Chain, Metcalf, Waddle, Higgins. He's building up a good, solid receiving core.
That
See,
seems like an
Mhm.
auto draft to me, but
well, Higgins, yeah. I feel like he was picking a bit. He was
Yeah.
on there for a while.
He was. He
I
was.
figure
Yeah.
you guys got a minute before we pick. I just want to go through and see if anybody out there has looked at the cut list. It looks like the Chargers cut Isaiah Spiller and Donald Parham. The Steelers cut Quez Watkins. The 49ers have cut Keyshawn Vaughn, Matt Breida, and put Elijah Mitchell on season-ending IR. They're going with that Guerrero, who had a great preseason. And then, Denver, they got rid of Tim Patrick. They traded him to the Lions. They got rid of Samaje Perine. Um,
Yeah, Lions are going to the Super Bowl. Tim Patrick
the
said.
Ravens got rid of Russell Gage. Um, there's a whole bunch of cuts. I was trying to lay out some of the key ones, some of the ones that would be more relevant to us, but
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it's going to affect anybody too much. But yeah, everybody's getting down to that 53-man roster, and some of these lists are bigger than others.
So I'm looking at this. It
Mhm.
says the Rams have Kyron Williams as their punt returner.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
that's
Did
what
you
that
talk
Rich
about
was
that?
when you
saying.
were off a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So what
it's
we
got everybody a little perplexed, man. It's got everybody a little perplexed for sure.
those are extra points, man.
Not
Mhm. But you're
really
also
though.
putting a very
It's
dependent
extra points
player
if he
in a
scores a
dangerous
touchdown.
position.
Yeah. Well, what
Yeah.
do you think about AJ Dillon being on IR? Do you think that boosts Josh Jacobs up in the draft? Do you think that kind of bumps his draft pick up or his
I
draft
mean,
stock?
what did he always do to Aaron Jones's touches? Of course.
Yeah, right. That is true. That is true.
Mhm.
Okay. And then yeah, so Tim Patrick signing to the Lions practice squad. Um that
That's
sucks.
great for the Lions. I like it.
Yeah, because he's still gonna go out there. I think you'll still see him out there. On the
Well, we got defensive linemen
He'll
and
be a
linebackers
great
on
wide
this one
receiver
too.
3 or 4.
yeah. I think he'll be a great wide receiver 3 or 4, and you'll see him out there in game days. There's nothing really fantasy relevant, I guess, as far as this goes. Looks like the 49ers
Mhm.
placed Elijah Mitchell on season-ending injury. Who's the backup behind C-Mac now?
It's Juszczyk and Guerrero.
Are you drafting those guys as handcuffs if you got C-Mac,
I mean,
or are you leaving them on the? Are you leaving them out there and waiting until you need them? Maybe.
I think that there's guys that are going to be available that I would probably take first, but I don't know, man. With C-Mac starting the season with a bit of a hamstring injury, and with his past on injuries and how many games he missed from 2020 to 2023, it's pretty scary, man.
Well, but how many did he miss last year though? What, he only missed like one game last year though,
I don't
right?
know if he missed any.
Yeah, see, so I don't know. I see what you
But
mean.
he's starting this season with a hamstring injury. He didn't have any scares last
True.
season.
Or
This
maybe he just
season
didn't play in
he's
the
starting.
preseason.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. What about who's the Browns running backs? Is Nick Chubb hurt?
Right now, it's Jerome Ford. It looks like
It's Jerome Ford and Nakeem Hines and Pierre Strong Jr.
Is that worthy of a draft? Draft
Ford,
spot?
yes. Ford, where he's going, where you can get him, absolutely.
Saying I don't have any running backs. That was
Well,
dumb.
well. Who's sleeping at the wheel?
Who's sleeping? Maybe I'll get Nick Chubb and get Zaire White then, I guess. If we're Zamir White, if we're talking, Krish, I guess he bounced out of here. He said he was a good sleeper.
Dude, I have no idea what's going on in this draft with linebackers and defensive linemen.
Well, should have paid attention.
Dude, you tell me what's going on then.
What do you mean?
Every single one of them's ADP is 999.
I didn't write the code. I don't know, man. I just literally logged on like you and pressed start on the draft. I don't know. I guess that'd be something to take up with Sleeper for sure.
But the last time we drafted, they were ranked. I don't get it.
Yeah. So I don't know why they have it like that.
And we didn't have defensive linemen on last time either. It was just linebackers.
No, yeah, I changed this one to linebackers. And took
This one's
defensive
got
linemen out.
DLs on them too.
Yeah, no, there's just linebackers on this one.
No, dude, look at Team 7 and Team 8. They drafted Alden Smith and Corey Leger. They're defensive linemen.
Well, you just have the linebacker position, so they drafted them in the linebacker position. Which, you're probably getting more points from a D lineman, right, as a linebacker than just a traditional linebacker? What do you think? What do you guys think? Because I feel like a D lineman's, having more chances to get after the ball carrier, more chances to get after the quarterback. Whereas the lineman, a traditional linebacker, right, playing more so coverage, waiting for the ball to come to. I don't know. What do you?
It probably depends per NFL team, like what kind of scheme they're running.
Yeah.
But then there's just freaks like Max Crosby and Patrick Queen and people like that, where they kind of
Hutchinson
outlier the whole group of them. Yeah.
Kinda, you got Broncos. No matter where they are. No, I'm going on my Bronco run now.
Man, you were saying you didn't have any running backs. Now you got two solid running backs at great value.
Good running backs.
You're an asshole, Mike. You're an asshole, Mike.
Not two breakaway running backs.
Mike is an asshole.
Forgetting Aluakon.
Yeah.
Aluakon. Krish, man, sorry you came on. It was a little technical difficulties this show, but I'd love to have you back on. Thank you guys for joining us. Shady Sports. This is our second mock draft. Just kind of seeing where it falls, see where these players play out is kind of the same from all of these mock drafts I've been looking at for the most part. Our first round, you got C-Mac going number 1, CeeDee Lamb going number 2. You kind of seen that across the board. Jamar Chase going 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown going 4, Tyreek Hill going 5, Justin Jefferson going 6, Bijan Robinson going 7, Breece Hall going 8, surprisingly. AJ Brown going 9, Garrett Wilson going 10. So I think that was a solid first round. Seems to be what you're seeing across the board. So funny, Shawnee.
Mike.
Oh, yeah, you got Singleton again? I forget about Singleton until he picks him.
I can't wait to the real draft.
Oh, man. Who are you going after, Justin? Getting your linebacker or what?
I'm going to short my running back room and
I can't
taking
even get him in
Jonathan
mocks.
Brooks.
I can't even get him in mock drafts.
Who you trying to get?
Alex Singleton.
Alex Singleton? I feel like he always gets him, and no one thinks about him until Mike picks him up. You're like,
well, I grabbed Zaire Franklin, and then I figured I'd be chill on linebackers till the next round, and then the next round I went Moss, and then he just went straight Singleton. I should have known better. Mike's that guy. Sneaky bastard.
Sneaky.
Whoopsie.
I feel you're
Yes,
underestimating.
yeah. I don't think Grayson is just auto drafting. I think he's going. Maybe he auto drafted a few times, but
he might have queued up a bunch of people and put it on auto because he doesn't have a green light.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. My lights are on and off. It's a bit different from what I see on the screen than what I see on my app too. Wait, do I have a?
Who's it gonna be, Jim?
Do I have a?
Oh man.
Justin going with the Carolina rookie.
Yeah, I figure I can slide him on my IR spot and pick somebody up on waivers until the meantime. If, of course, your league has an IR spot, throwing him in there.
Yeah. Well, I think the goal was to try to turn this into a league, right? A makeshift league, but I don't think we have enough people.
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we got, what do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5 more people. I'll keep putting feelers out there and seeing.
Well, I think Chris is one of those teams, so I think we only need like 4 more people.
I mean, if you drop it down to 8 too, then we only need 3 people.
Well, if you drop it down to 8, I think we only need 1 more then, because I think Chris is one of those teams too. So yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like staring at the.
Yeah, we're gonna make this a free league, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was just gonna be like, like surprise. You just drafted your team. Let's run it, see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a show league, so we can bounce our players from and talk about them.
Yeah, get a good practice. It'd be something to post up, and kind of touch on, as well too. My cat's over here begging for food. I feed this cat, he begs for food after.
Get a job.
Yeah, that's what I tell him. Like, you need to get out there and work, bro.
The girl's just got a new kitten.
Well, be prepared to feed him all the time. Train him while he's young.
We got 2 now, bro. We got 2. I know you did that on purpose, Mike. I'm no dumbass.
Yeah, so I mean, this draft is turning out pretty much like you see it across the board.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be a whole lot different. I feel like Lad McConkey is one of those late round sleepers just because of the fact I feel he's going to have a big role in the Chargers offense this season as a rookie.
Yeah, yeah. They say that, Quentin Johnston is going to have this big role, but the way that he played last season and the way they treated him says otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
They even say that, he wasn't performing well in camp or in practice either. So it's like, you guys can say one thing and then reporting says another. Mm-hmm. Now we're just going to have to wait for the eye test.
Absolutely.
Nick, post your team up, bro. I want to see what you're working with. Show me what you're working with.
What team was Krish?
I don't know. I don't think it updated it because he joined last minute or something.
Yeah, he said. I thought he said he was on, but
he said he was on there, so maybe he's one of them.
But then he just dipped out. I guess he finally realized he wasn't on there and was like, "All right, I'm gone."
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I mean, this episode was really just a mock draft. Like I said, we didn't really have too many topics we were touching on. I mean, I guess
this
things,
one was just for funsies.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things, right? CeeDee Lamb got paid. We all know that. So big props to him. That really shores up his pick. What are some other big news out there we haven't touched on?
Well, Jamar Chase has said that he's going to practice, so he's not holding out. He's not pulling a Le'Veon Bell. He
And
doesn't
he
have
says he's gonna play week 1.
He doesn't have a contract yet, but it looks like he's going to practice and play.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's pretty much been guaranteed. And he
That's a
sees
good
what
pick there,
happened with
Sutton.
CD. He sees what happens with DJ Moore. I mean, he knows that he's that top 5 talent. He knows Cincinnati wants him and are happy that he's a part of the organization. They're not just going to let him dip because, I'm sure Joe Burrow's going to bat for him as well. You look at that duo and what they did and how many AFC championships they've been to now. There's just no way in hell they can't pay the man. It's like they got the cap for it too. It's just the owner of the Bengals is the same as the Steelers. The AFC North is such a different division. All those owners are old school as shit. They don't believe in doing business during the season, but you didn't get anything done during the off season either. So you got to kind of suck it up and meet in the middle and pay the man if you want your team to be what it is.
Mm-hmm. And you definitely have to pay them because they definitely need them on that team.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and they just cut 2 of their depth wide receivers from the practice squad. So
But here we got some action and some traction, guys. So let's see. It's Reese Bird. Thanks for watching, man. It says, I know it's not even week 1, but how'd I do on this 12-man PPR draft? Mahomes, Cook,
David Montgomery,
Jamar Chase, Metcalf, Rashee Rice, and then Njoku.
I'll give you a B plus, maybe a B minus.
Says
your running back room consists of kind of a secondary red
That's what he
zone
said.
guy.
He says he thinks he messed up on his running backs.
Yeah. With Jamar and DK, you can't really go wrong. Rice, if he doesn't get suspended, will be fine. And Njoku is definitely a top 10 tight end. And Patrick Mahomes, he had a dip in his production last season as far as fantasy relevance, but he's still Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the most magical men when it comes to playing that position. Some of the shit he pulls is absolutely ridiculous. He still has Travis Kelce at the position. He's got the fastest 40 runner in the history of the combine out there in the slot for him as well. So, yeah, I'll give you a B plus, man. As far as that draft goes, just a little bit of room for improvement in the running back room, and then defense and kicker always can kind of play a role in that. But you can go week to week on them. So, and then I don't know. Let us know who you got as handcuffs in the bench stash too. That always kind of falls into play. It's a decent starting roster. I'd probably
I was gonna say, what do you guys think in a league like that, 12-man league, and your running backs are Cook and Montgomery? Like, off the top of he has Mostert on his bench.
Oh yeah, see, I would take Mostert over A-Chain any day of the week. Yeah.
Oh come on, dude.
Damn, you got Bo Nix, Shawnee?
Yeah, I picked up
Bo
Nix.
I like that.
I got Aubrey on auto for you too because I had him on my my queue.
Oh yeah, I do need a kicker, don't I? Thanks for reminding me, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has Mostert on his bench. I think you just kind of look through week by week and see who's picking up those points, those I guess consistent points, right? Like, who would you be looking for? What would you be looking for to try to shore up your running back room in that situation?
Well, I mean, Mostert does it. Mostert definitely does it. Raheem in the steam helps.
Woo! A good draft. So yeah, and then I guess we would just take out the computer teams and put those guys back into let them free, and then they'd be available to pick up. Or how do you guys want to go about that?
I think it would be a good idea is if just have one more hoorah. I mean, if you want to bring it down to 8, it wouldn't take that long to just
do another draft.
Do a 8-team one. I mean, I'm fine either way. I'm comfortable and confident with the team I got. So
well, we'll see what everybody says. I mean, if you know Grayson, Mike, I guess it's really aside from
yeah, because I
us.
feel like people, if they were to come into the league, they'd more likely would like to draft their own players versus picking up one of these computer drafted ones.
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody's a team where they're like, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
But the likes of that are probably 50%.
Yeah, I mean they're not bad teams, right? Like
No. I
like
just
team 2
I know me personally, like I just like hand drafting
would
my
want your
team.
own team. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're going in. All right, so we got I guess this is the rest of his team: Curtis Samuel, Brian Thomas Jr., Khalil Shakir, Wicks. I don't.
Grayson's
Jalen.
still drafting.
I know he's still picking his person. Goes from Jalen Wright and Taysom Hill on the bench. So I mean, it doesn't really have. I mean, I think that's.
Damn, Ezekiel Elliott, Curtis.
It's a
Samuels, and
solid
Romeo Dobbs
floor
didn't
team.
even go.
I don't see any necessary huge home run hitters,
Oh,
like
come
week
on,
winners.
dude.
Woo!
But it is a good, solid floor team for points.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, yeah. There's some funny teams in here, man.
Well, I mean, I kind of got sideswiped and went away from it and just jumped back and just did. But I would gladly rock fourth place with this squad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the squads we picked are all, but well, Team 7 looks good.
Team 10 looks good.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, but I think that's just that thing though. Like, when you have 8 to 10 teams.
Team
Now
2
imagine
looks
if we
really
had
good,
like
man.
if every team was an actual person, I think it would turn out a
Yeah,
lot
I think it'd be a
different.
lot different.
It'd be a lot more
I
cutthroat
would think
and
it'd be
running at
yeah.
like
Dude, it
be
seems
And
like
also, if it's
when
gonna
it
be
goes on
the
to auto pick, the wide receiver just gets snatched. The wide receiver game just goes crazy.
Yeah, they are always ranked higher than they.
I agree with
gonna be,
Michael.
right?
Like those three players, I'm not drafting anywhere. I'm not
I'd
drafting
take
more of
DJ
Williams or
Moore.
Ayuk.
I take DJ Moore.
Mike's like, I would
You know
not
my
have taken
stance.
DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, or Ayuk out with auto draft.
Yeah,
Let's see what
I'm in the
Adam
same boat
Schefter
though. I
says.
would.
Oh yeah,
Adam
I mean,
Schefter
at
said he'd
that
take
point,
Anthony Richardson in the early rounds. What do you guys think about
Richardson didn't get taken until the 5th.
that? I know. When would you take him? Reese, we
Well,
did just mock.
it
You should join
depends
the
on
league.
when the quarterback run. It depends on when the quarterback run starts. You know, because I mean, dude, you look at these guys who are mocking or drafting in ESPN or Sleeper, like the guys who run this shit. The ESPN guys, like Shefty and Field Yates and all that. Dude, Adam Schefter took Anthony Richardson #1 overall.
Well, he's saying taking him around the 4th round.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. It's like he's going #1 in drafts as QB.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that starts, second or third round, then that's where he's going. But I think people are coming back down to earth a lot on these drafts. Superflex, it makes sense to see a quarterback go so quick. But I feel like over the last couple seasons, there's always these couple of people who start to snatch quarterbacks at the end of the first round, like Patrick Mahomes, and then like into the second round with Allen and Hurts. And now I feel like people are like going back to a wide receiver, running back, and then trying to pick up a QB after that. And it's kind of settling as that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mike says I would take
I'm in
Murray
agreement
before
with Michael
Richardson.
here. I would take Murray over Richardson as well.
Well, dude, Richardson is a cheat code all on his own, man. Yeah, he got injured last season, but the 4 games you saw, Murray's healthy now, but I don't know. Those
That's why I
guys are
took them
definitely going
both.
to be. Those guys definitely have top 5 potential in even better.
That's why I took them
Both
both.
of
I
them.
was like, one of them's gonna pop, right? One of
Yeah,
them's
it's
gonna
more
pop.
likely they both were. You just have now the dilemma of which one you're going to start each week.
I'm more
Who
so
would
just
you look
happy that
for?
there's more
Okay,
than
Shawnee, you were pick 9, so you picked
Well, he
AJ
was
Brown.
another pick
So
before you redraft or randomized it.
you're pick 9 in a 10-team league. You felt AJ Brown was your best option. Were you trying to go wide receiver? What was your?
I saw AJ Brown still on there, and
Mhm.
when I have the opportunity to go AJ Brown and try to
Yeah.
get the Jalen Hurts stack, I always go for it. But I mean, dude, if you look at any other draft, usually AJ Brown goes quicker than the 9th. But I got lucky, and if you still see him there at the end of the first round, it's just I got to take him. And
I
yeah,
know my
I mean,
personal
I feel like
preference.
that man's volume is just crazy. And between him and Jalen Hurts, it's a good stack. I grabbed Barkley as well. It's like these full teams, especially Philly, who does so well. I feel like you can't go wrong there. I mean, you look at Reagan, dude. Reagan, she drafted pretty much the entire Cincinnati Bengals team the year they went on the AFC draft run, and she beat me in the championship with the freaking entire Cincinnati Bengals team. It's like these teams, when they do well consistently throughout the season on a stack, they can take you all the way.
See the Cowboys play CeeDee Lamb on the commissioner's exempt list. Just happened. Breaking news.
I did not then. No,
Yeah.
I was not aware.
It just says they're just so they can navigate their cut downs, but basically he's
Mhm.
pushed to the side right now, and then he'll be back. He'll be back in. They just signed that deal, so obviously they're not gonna sign a deal that big and then cut him. I just thought that was cool news.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm in agreement with Reese on his comment on Richardson and where he stands.
Yeah, but at the same time, Richardson could take a lot of those touchdowns too with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say,
yeah, I think at that point it's just
Richardson
personal preference.
Is going to be making those decisions on whether or not to dump off to JT or keep that ball.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the coach calls, JT's number in the red zone, which you don't see Jonathan Taylor's number being called a lot at the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
You usually see a lot of passing or a lot of QB sneaking in that area. But I mean, Jonathan Taylor is more of a long yardage, yards after hit guy who just gets a lot of volume. That's why he gets you the points, and he gets 20-plus yard touchdown runs. He's not known as that guy within the 20.
Yeah, Mike, pick 9. I got pick 9 in my work league, man.
I feel like.
Oh, you do? Where you sitting?
I know. I didn't do too bad for what I had to work with.
Yeah, I think So I'm gonna just pick what you pick. Hopefully, it falls like that, and I can just pick your team on my league, and then we'll run to the championship.
But it's like if the rest of those teams before me weren't auto pick, it probably could have gone a lot different.
Yeah. What were you saying, Justin?
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, where I'm at 9. If I was in that spot, I have Wilson over Brown on my boards.
That's what I was wondering.
In redraft and dynasty.
But I mean,
I have a player preference.
I have preference.
Reese, I know risk is a big part of
that's what it is.
Football,
I mean, they're both
nobody
equally
wins championships by not taking risks, my dude.
Scared money don't make no money.
Exactly. Can't be scared, man. You got to make that pick, bro.
That's the point of it, right?
It's all risk.
Back to our
every single player you draft runs the risk of a season-ending injury within the first game. Jordan Love is a great sleeper, and he was number 8 last season. He was second in touchdown passes, but you know,
I
Love.
think I drafted him accordingly, so I think I took him in the 8th. What is this?
But
1, 2,
Jordan
3,
Love's
4,
still,
6, 7.
still a high
Yeah,
pick.
yeah, because
I'm
he was
taking
top 3
Richardson
last year, and
and
I took him
Kyler
in the 8th
Murray
year.
over Love, though.
Yeah, I believe in Wilson over Brown this year, but that's all different. Like for this, I mean, my whole draft's differently. I was going under the umbrella that this was redraft. I mean, if this is dynasty and I'm at pick 5, I'm looking at getting one of those top 5 quarterbacks at my pick over
You know what else is weird with me
who I
is
took.
if I have a team that has a
Tiger.
player on it already, like
Got
I
my
already
pick.
have Garrett Wilson.
Oh, you can't even see
I
it.
like to take somebody different in different drafts that I don't have just to see how they do, so I can have different teams with different leagues with different players, so I don't have
See,
all
I
the
don't.
same players.
That's hard. That's hard right there, especially in different
Mhm.
teams, because then you start going up against your team and your players, and you're like, oh shoot, now I'm like trying to strategize against this player. I got to strategize against this player, and I got this player in, and it's a whole thing. I try to get the same players across leagues if I can help it.
See,
Yeah, and like 90% of my
spread it
leagues
out.
I have.
I like to spread it out because you never know
Yeah.
who's going to have that season.
Exactly. So yeah, that's just my strategy here. Like this, I went Hill and redraft.
Because you guys saw it in our
if we're
real
doing
draft.
dynasty,
In our real draft, who did I take at 5? Wilson. You know, like if this was a real draft, then there wouldn't have been computers picking. Things would have went a lot different, and I probably wouldn't have had Brown or Wilson to choose from at 9 and 10.
Very true.
You know?
Like you probably would have been looking at what, like Saquon Barkley. Well, let me see. Like,
yeah, if you look down into the second round, it would have probably been more around there. It would have been like, Puka or, some, yeah.
So, yeah, Nick Chubb's out for the first 4 games. Are you drafting Nick Chubb later in the round and throwing him on the IR until he's good?
I mean, guys, look, Jonathan Taylor was in the same situation. You know, how many people were still drafting him? Yeah, he lasted a lot longer on the draft board. But once he came back, what did he do? Nick Chubb is an elite running back, dude. But, dude, season 1 back on a big knee injury like he did, dude. Like, what Minka Fitzpatrick did to that man's knee, I'm not saying it was on purpose. I'm a Steeler fan. You even got NFL players saying, it's on purpose and what happens. Like, but, dude, that was a brutal fucking knee injury. And to watch his knee do what it did, I mean, a similar thing happened to Joe Theismann minus the break, and he never played a down of football again. You know what I mean? But, I mean, you look at Javonte, the season he had coming back off. I mean, medical science is getting a lot better. These guys are getting a lot better at knowing their limits. And, if they're smart and they want to continue to have a career and play the sport that they love, they're not going to overdo it at first and go out there and put it all out there and end their career for life. So I feel like Chubb will definitely miss the first 4, maybe the first 8, come back after that. But he's worth the stash, but if he doesn't go, he'll be on waivers. So
I treat him. I mean, like I use my strategy with Brooks in this mock draft is I already had my 3 or 4 running backs established. He was still there. I take him. I stash him in my IR. Grab somebody that I probably wouldn't have normally drafted at all in the meantime, and then after 6-8 weeks, when I feel confident enough that they're comfortable with bringing him and having that workload again, then bringing him back into my lineup and putting that guy that I took in his place in the meantime back out on waivers. Because he's proven he's such an elite talent at running back that like it's worth taking that risk in the later rounds where he's going for it to pay off for that playoff push if you're one of those teams contending.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I agree.
So I'm looking at I got
and that's another great point that Mike makes is that's why they make injured reserve spots on your roster, so that way they're not taking up bench room. You can put together the bench you want, but if you get lucky and they come off IR and then they go on to pup, or they can come back within 4 games, and then you can always activate them whenever you want. And you might have to slim down a roster spot, but I mean, for a guy like Nick Chubb, who is a 3-down back for Cleveland, I mean, dude, that's a guy I want to start in my lineup, especially with his past, his history. I mean, we know who he is. This guy is an established top 5, top 8 running back that gets the volume, that has the skills, that gets called up every time. So, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Another strategy with that, too, the tandem with the IR spot is by the time he's coming back and you have to make that roster's decision, what you could do is swing maybe one of those running backs you're not sure of going into the playoff push and package them with another person and get a 2-for-1. So you get an upgrade at one position that you're struggling in, bring Chubb or whoever that is out of the IR into your lineup, and now you have an upgrade at position, and you have this player that's, maybe higher value but was hurt, is back in your lineup and put it in a starting spot.
Absolutely.
And you
absolutely.
got
not only that, around that time is when you're going to see bye weeks start to affect your team, and you're going to need to plug people in a bye,
Well, and then you just got a solid starting player, like a later round in the draft. You know what I mean? Like just sitting there in your IR spot. So I think that is a good thing. If you have, like Mike said, if you have your backup sit already, then I think it would be something worth looking at if you have the chance, right? You got to kind of instead of just kind of maybe. Yeah, because I mean, you're not using those picks anyway. Kind of at that point. So I think it's kind of good to have.
I think Rob here brings up a good question, and to answer it, I would say most certainly, depth at running back, because injury is going to happen and bye weeks going to happen, and those guys are just one injury away from potentially getting another higher opportunity for volume in your lineup. I mean, if they're if they're at the end of your bench in the last spot, I mean, if you can't find anybody else you're comfortable with or you really like there, I'd say, absolutely take either a Dawdle or a Mason.
Yeah. Rico for sure. Mason for sure. Yeah, I mean, they're always worth a start.
Especially with Dallas having Ezekiel Elliott, right? Like
you never know, because
like the goals for Dallas.
Gone,
Yeah, so
they
what up,
Nick? Didn't have much faith in him. I don't think he showed them too much during the preseason.
No, I didn't see really anything flat. Like the Dallas backfield is going to be a real enigma for me, and that's where I've been kind of avoiding them in drafts overall as my startings. But I'm comfortable taking any of them in my bench in the later rounds to take a gamble on it. But I'm not relying on a Dawdle or Ezekiel Elliott or Deuce Vaughn as my running back 2 or flex. I'm kind of having those kind of players pushed down onto my bench spot. And same for the 49ers running back room. I mean, McCaffrey has a little nick already.
Ooh, I was about to touch on this. So sorry to cut you off, Justin. It's funny. I wanted to bring this up because I'm looking at these rankings, right? And they got Puka fantasy football or fantasy pro experts. They got Puka ranked 11, 12, 13, 11. So average 12th overall player. You know what I mean? Come on, Cooper
Kupp is the better value.
Cooper Kupp was that guy.
That's what I'm trying to argue to a lot of people.
Well, he is a better value, because you're getting them lower in the round. You're getting them lower in the draft. For sure.
Exactly.
Whereas Puka,
you're expecting Puka to provide at elite wide receiver level, where yes, he had a great year last year, but it was predominantly dominated by the fact that Kupp was not in the offense due to this significant knee injury. Kupp is back. He is healthy.
And that is Stafford's end zone target, dude.
Look, hold that thought right there. Okay. I'm gonna take a break really quick. Guys, you're watching Shady Sports Fantasy Reports, season 3, episode 12. We did our mock draft, had that going on. Now we're getting into the meat of it. So we're gonna go ahead and throw a promo up here, and then we'll be right back, guys.
Perfect.
What's up, guys? Thanks for sticking with us. Shady Sports Fantasy Reports on Shady Sports Network. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X, all the social media outlets. You can even find Shady Sports on Spotify, all of your other audio. I think Apple or iTunes or whatever it is. But anyway, look up Shady Sports Network. You'll find us. I guarantee you. I'll go to www.shadysportsnetwork.com. This is fantasy football reports. We try to cover fantasy football. We're rolling into the 2024 NFL season, and we're bringing you guys into it hard, man. We just rolled out our second mock draft of the year. I think that went pretty well. We had a few more
It was
people
fun.
in there. It was super fun, Shout out Grayson, shout out Mike, shout out Chris.
Thank you for everyone who pitched in.
Yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you guys for just been watching us with your comments. Reese, Rob, Nick, thanks for shouting us out. Thanks for joining in and just showing us love. Mike, thanks for posting up some good information. Feel free to join in if you guys ever want to come on live. Let us know. We're more than happy to bring you on here. We're just guys like you. We're just fans. We just love the game. We love fantasy football.
We're for the people.
We're for the people, and these guys a little bit more than me, Shawnee and Justin. A little bit more info as you can see, but we're all champions. I got my ring. I got my fantasy football.
Oh hell!
I'll post up my accolades if I have to. But anyway, before we went over to the break, we're talking about what Reese was saying. What we think of the Puka, Cooper, whatever you want to say, the situation. How you feel about it? Because you got Puka rated as higher, so he's going to be going early in the draft. But then, like you were saying, Shawnee, you feel that Cooper is the better value, right? Because he's going later, right?
I'll let him finish his thought, and then I'll add.
Argue for target share, okay? But in this situation, you could see like a 22 to 25% target share, but I always feel like, and dude, this is a past relationship that goes seasons between Kupp and Stafford, and the touchdowns, I just feel like Puka has that ability, of course, but I just feel like that Stafford Kupp connection is crazy. He always goes to him no matter what because of the confidence, and it's just like Kupp's ability to score those touchdowns is pretty much, it's like almost a banger guarantee. There's like days where I'll be like, all right, next play, Kupp touchdown, and it'll happen. Just because the odds are there in the favor.
Yeah, but then you see last year, then you see Puka getting those targets though. Then you see that happening with Puka. He was getting those routes. Don't you think he'll be getting those routes more this season? Does he prove?
Yeah, I see him getting good volume and I see him getting good target share. I just think that when it comes to the guy that you want, the guy that's going to have the edge, the guy that's going to score you more points because he's getting touchdowns is going to be Kupp. Okay. He's healthy. He's back on the field. Justin said it, man. The reason that Puka took over is not, it's not because he's not talented. It's because he was getting the volume and the target share because Kupp wasn't on the field.
Well, look at this. So from weeks, hold on, I'm looking at this now. My computer wants to go haywire as soon as I say that. But this is from week 17, weeks 5 through 17 of last year. Weeks 5 through 17. So later in the season, Nakua had 102 targets, 62 receptions, 944 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He was the wide receiver 8. Cooper Kupp had 95 targets, 59 receptions, 737 yards, and 5 touchdowns, wide receiver 19. So that's the second half of the season. And Nakua had almost, he had 7 more targets, 3 more receptions, but he had almost, 200 more yards than
I'll finish off Shawnee's thought there too. It was just the Kupp towards the back half of the season, he was coming off of an injury, so he wasn't 100%. So going to the context of this season, if he's asking the question of this year, how to evaluate the Kupp Puka situation. The best way there's depth charts for a reason, and right now I see it as Cooper is wide receiver 1, Puka is wide receiver 2, and as long as Kupp is in that offense, he is Stafford's number 1. Now they both can feed off each other. They both can be productive. with deciding whether or not to go with one of either or of those wide receivers in the draft is like what Shawnee said. I personally am more comfortable going with the value of Cup in the later rounds than investing in Puka to be my top tier wide receiver one elite weapon that I don't feel he shares the same spot with as an AJ Brown or a Garrett Wilson or a Tyreek Hill or a Justin Jefferson and all those guys. I don't feel that his situation compares.
Yeah, that's weird to me. That's so weird to me that granted,
I've seen Puka go in the back of the first over AJ. Like I've seen him be outrageously and egregiously overvalued and over drafted in drafts, and it's kind of a little bit disrespectful to Cup. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a Triple Crown winner. He had an unfortunate injury, but at the end of the day, he is the primary outlet for Stafford when the pocket breaks down and it's crap mode. And when they're tight in the red zone and he needs a guy he needs to look for right away because he knows he has those sure hands, those hands that won him a Super Bowl. Like, speaking
of Cup, so Rob, shout out to Rob Kane. Thanks for watching us, bro. He got his team. He drafted Cup.
Oh, so cool.
He's in a 10-team PPR, 2 flex. So his team is Mahomes, Bijan Robinson, Pacheco, Kamara, Singletary, Stevenson, Dowdle,
God
Cup,
damn,
Harrison Jr., Sutton. I don't even know how he got Cup and Harrison Jr. and Ramondre and Bijan in a 10-team league. This is a 10-team league.
Man. Well, put his name on the trophy already.
And Cup and Dowdle and Sutton and Deontay and all those guys are going late.
True.
Dude, I think Sutton's a sleeper. Yeah, sleeper. Like
Sutton.
After seeing how Bo Nix has been doing, like I could see
Sutton's touchdowns are going to drop this year because he's going to be there. He's going to be double teamed. Shadow. There's going to be a lot of.
Well, I'm saying for the value of where he probably drafted him, he probably
he shouldn't be drafted, right?
Layers, so like
that's an A- team for sure.
Yeah, and he got Josh Palmer too.
Yeah, like
don't forget that. So he has another,
another
wide receiver.
Palmer got me into the playoffs in Dynasty last season by having a good couple of weeks at the end of the season. Man, I love me some Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer's to Herbert as Sutton will be for Nick.
So,
yeah, this looks like a solid lineup. Like, depending on where he got all these values, like you said, I don't know how he managed to pull off Harrison Jr. and Cup on his team. That is,
and Mahomes. Well, I see Mahomes. That's later. Mahomes is later for sure.
Might have been first pick if he got a swing like that. But
first pick. Who do you think his first pick was? Bijan,
or
absolutely,
yeah, I had it at Bijan.
And then what? Harrison Jr. was the second pick, right?
Yeah,
he had to have the swing, right? So Bijan was like at the end of the first round.
I think this is like a team like 9 or 8 or 9.
He was 5th.
Oh, 5th! Wow,
that's crazy. That league, man. Let me join that league. Send us that link so I can get in there and give me some wins racked up.
Catching people sleeping.
Right, sleeper. Get my confidence high.
Look, that's when I had the 5th position in that mock. That's exactly who I got too. Except for over Mahomes, I took Allen. I got Bijan, got Pacheco, and then I got Allen at the 5th spot.
Yeah, but you didn't have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Cup, and
which would have been nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Michael's point here.
I think there are a lot of players that have fallen in the ranks just because there are a lot of options to choose from this year.
Most of their stats are bigger than A-Chain's throughout the season. He missed less time. The ADP is backwards on that.
I think it's almost an identical situation with Cup and Puka. Like, it's egregiously disrespectful for where Mostert and Cup are going in drafts compared to A-Chain.
Why is that?
I'll tell you what it is.
Because people want the pop, the flashy.
The people who have had Puka last season, they see how good he did and what
they're
he
getting
got
him again.
And they never had Cup. They never knew what it was like to have Cup a part of that roster and to see what he did for them. So they only have Puka experience. So they go with the experience they had last season, which was really good. and they just don't know what it was like to have Cup in that spot, man.
So it's still well, put on APB.
Yeah,
But
Palmer
yeah,
was
for
amazing last year. I feel like I put Palmer and Christian Kirk around the same, area. Those are two guys that are deep
Ooh,
threats that,
hot take.
some weeks they might bother you, but some weeks they're going to
ooh,
bail you out.
See, and I've been thinking about Jalen Wright. So, like, if
I
you're in a
agree with him
dynasty,
here.
would you look at Jalen Wright? Because either way,
Absolutely.
he's gonna take over or he's gonna get traded, right? So he's gonna go somewhere. Either way, he's gonna play in the next 2 to 3 years, right?
Ooh.
So I'm
Well,
looking at him in a dynasty or a keeper.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you don't draft you don't draft a running back of his talent when you already have Mostert and HN on your roster if you don't have a plan for him.
Well, maybe they got a plan to get rid of Mostert too, right? Like,
Yeah,
No way.
they believe in him. What it tells me is they believe in him and his talent, so he fits somewhere in the
Mostert's
offense.
going nowhere.
Yeah, that whole room is sticking but I can see a universe or a path to where HN isn't hitting enough home runs and Wright's taking over the second running back spot. I don't think
or maybe
Mostert's the only way Mostert's losing his job is injury. That's just my
100% agree.
Or maybe even Miami has a coach. Maybe dude, Mike McDaniel does what he wants. We've already seen that. So maybe
when he plays the Broncos.
Well, yeah, right, for sure. Especially when he plays the Broncos, right? It's personal. It's personal. It goes back to those water boy days, right? But no, like maybe he knows like his running backs are gonna get hurt. Maybe he knows at some point in the season he's gonna have to have a solid second or first running back in there. So maybe he's just all three. He's riding with all three of them. They don't care about
he
fantasy
runs by
points.
committee. That's obvious to see.
Yeah, so maybe Jalen Wright just fits in as a running back, as one of the dudes. They just got another dude. Maybe that's just another weapon for them and their endless amount of weapons.
It absolutely is.
Like,
look at the depth in any other team's room. They go way deeper than that, It's just the talent in that room is spectacular. That's all.
It's smart drafting
around,
what
right?
it is too, because you're putting an insurance policy on your running back position. You're already a high octane functioning offense. You just add another talent back there in case of anything happens. And best case scenario, he pops too when he gets his opportunities, just like HN did last year. He popped when he had his opportunities. I think to agree and to add to what Shawnee was saying is like people who had Puka and HN last year, they rode him for the weeks that they won their weeks with, and they like him so much that they're believers in him and like, yeah, they're gonna do it again for me this year. And it's like, pump the brakes, man. Situation's different this year than it was last year. Like everyone's coming in fresh slate, all healthy, ready to go. And I feel like you'd be at where you're drafting them, you're gonna be more disappointed where you drafted them by the end of the season than where if you would have went with the proven established talent at the later value rounds that you can get the Cup, the Mostert in.
Right. So yeah,
sure.
that's cool though. Don't tell people that. There's a lot of people. I still got a couple more drafts left.
Well, I keep it true. I'm
right.
Hey, we're
100%.
I know you're just joking.
Transparent. I mean, I'm confident in how I draft. If that's the route you're gonna go, you punch, I'll counter punch.
But that's the thing, though, right? Like that's how it goes, though, right? You always see those swings every year from the year before, and then people are jumping on these. People are jumping on these picks just because of what they were. But you got to think, like the league has had a chance to see these players. You know what I mean? Like other players have had it all off season to watch Puka. You know what I mean? To watch him run his routes, to watch A-Chain do his cuts, to know their tendencies. They're not gonna get, they're not gonna get struck by lightning twice. And these dudes are gonna end up as bust, right?
Because I hear that same argument for people of why they are against when people draft CJ Stroud as high as they do. Is like, oh, the defenses are gonna have him figured out. He's not gonna replicate the same thing he did last year. But why does that not apply to Achane and Puka? Like, like the defenses aren't going to figure them out also?
Yeah, how are you going to – you can't make that argument because, I mean, dude, they've only put more talent around him. You know what I mean? That's like people saying that have you heard – I mean, 80 to 90% of the stuff you hear about Caleb Williams is all positive, and that's simply due to the fact that they have put the best possible weapons around this man to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't played any games yet.
Same situation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at where people had like Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson and Bryce Young the years past. They were drafted that high and they bombed. Well, maybe it's a little early on Bryce Young.
Okay, but it's not. But I mean, you're looking at things now and you're seeing where he's going now. It's not like anybody's going out of their way to draft him top 10. I mean, he's still sitting on most waivers, but you know, I mean, Stroud. His numbers, they speak for themselves. Over 30 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. I mean, and all they did in the offseason was go out and add Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon. So don't tell
they're
me
all
that
in.
this boy's production is going to slouch as a result of that. You know what I mean? He's still the leader of that team. He's still going to take off and go. He's still going to do what he does. He's going to make smart decisions. I mean, that was his rookie season. Now he's got a season under his belt.
Yeah.
And this is just another season for him to learn and adapt with more talent around him. You know, he's blessed in what he's got. And I do think that, you know, CJ Stroud has the ability to be in the top 5, the top 3, you know, all day long. I don't think anybody drafts him have trouble. I think, like you said, the only thing that's going to stop C.J. Stroud is if something, God forbid, happens and he gets hurt.
And to add to what Chris was asking about earlier, like I think Mixon adds a whole lot to the Texans offense more than he hurts the Texans offense. Like I feel like he's a valuable asset as like a running back 3 or a flex, but I'm not looking for where I'm drafting him to be my workhorse running back 2 or 1 because Houston has all those other weapons in the offense before him.
And and Stroud, he wasn't known for, I mean, I'm sure he had rushing touchdowns, but he wasn't known for being the guy who scored on his feet. He was known for the guy who threw over 30 touchdown passes. He's got the arm, you know what I mean? So, and Mixon won't take away from that. He's just another end zone target. You know, he just ups his ability to throw more touchdown passes. Or, you know, if you don't want to risk that and you're within the 5, he's the guy who's got the size and the capability to ground and pound it and score, you know?
I have a hot take that I think it's more of a reality that Caleb and Williams and Bo Nix are closer together by the end of the season than it is there's a farther gap between the two of them by the end of the season as far as stats and production and all that factored into where Caleb Williams and Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're going to be closer together by the end of the season.
I really hope
then there will be a gap.
I don't know if Bo Nix has the team built around him.
That's that part.
But that holds more water for me. If he's able
he's going to have to work.
If he's able to hold that gap and keep them together closer with the resources he has available to him compared to a Caleb, that would speak more volumes to me of, okay, if the gap between them is closer and Caleb Williams has all that talent and Bo Nix is nipping at his heels where he doesn't have all that talent, that's more telling to me than by the end of the season that Caleb Williams is way over here and Bo Nix is down here. Well, then that's kind of seen to be happening because Caleb Williams has all this talent around him where Bo Nix is basically, you know, making the best of what he has available to him. And to me, like all things considered from what I've seen in the preseason, the likelihood of them being closer together by the end of the year is more of a highly likely probability than it would be Caleb Williams way up here and Bo Nix way down there.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He got Franklin. He's got Sutton. I mean, Javonte. He's got Jaleel McLaughlin. I mean, there is talent around him.
Oh, there's definitely
not
talent
as notable.
On that team. Dulcich.
Yeah.
You know, Kroll. You know.
Yeah, I was just looking at the comment real quick.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get to. I want to get back to that, but any chance to talk about those Bronchies?
I was gonna say.
Well, I was just saying because I hear a lot of conversations, at least up here, is like, yeah, no, Caleb Williams is just God mode. He's just gonna blow him out of the water. There's just gonna be such a big overall gap and whatnot. Well, it's like, okay, yes, that's a possibility. Look at the talent around him, and if he doesn't do that, for where you're drafting Caleb Williams, it's like, what the hell? Versus if you invest in Bo Nix in the later rounds and he's closer up to a Caleb Williams with what he has, the Broncos are only going to add to that next year. They'll be like, oh, this man can pull it off. If we just invest and get more around him, he can be up to that level and be up to that tier.
Yeah, this season he was the investment. You know what I mean? The Bears had crazy picks, and they were able to get 2 guys within the top 10, and they made use of those picks. Now the Donkeys had to trade up to get Nix where they wanted him, and
No,
they invested everything that they had to get him. So now, once they realized that the talent is there, they got their guy. Yeah, building the
did the
talent
Broncos
around
trade up?
him.
I don't think the Broncos traded up. I think Bo Nix just fell to them. I think
No, they traded
I'm not
up.
sure about. I think they went in front of the Vikings.
Oh,
right?
they did jump
traded
ahead
up.
of the Vikings.
They traded up to get
They
him.
traded up 1 spot, 2 spots.
Yeah, I think they went from 14 to 12.
Yeah.
I thought so because I was at the draft party up here and everybody all went like, "Huh? Like what's going on?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean Payton had that dude. Bo Nix has been groomed to run that offense. There was no surprise to me that he was named number 1. Stidham was not getting that job. Nobody was getting that job but Bo Nix. You could see the look on Sean Payton's face on draft day, how happy he was to get that man into his organization. And you knew from that day forward that he was going to be the number 1 guy, their starter. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had a Broncos playbook for this season, weeks, if not months, before he was drafted.
Oh, probably the same as Caleb Williams, and I mean the same as Jaden Daniels too. Shout out to Reese. Thoughts on Jaden Daniels? I think Jaden Daniels is going to be this year's CJ Stroud. If you think about it,
there's a reason for the last several seasons that I haven't taken McLaurin, and I've been taking McLaurin this season. And not only that, I think Daniels has a great arm, but I think Daniels is even bigger threat on his own, on his 2 feet. But I still just have faith in him as a passer enough to be able to especially at his ADP, to draft TJ McLaurin.
At his ceiling, Jaden Daniels has the tools and the physicality and the football IQ to be a hybrid of CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson between the throwing and the mobility. He also has a good set of. He's got a best friend back there behind him. He's got a pass catching running back veteran in Austin Eckler, and he's also got a bruising goal line running back in Brian Robinson. If he doesn't want to risk his body, he shouldn't have to.
Himself for sure, yeah. And that's the one thing that I worry about is due to his size. The line's going to do everything they can to protect him, obviously, but he needs to make smart decisions when it comes to dumping the ball off instead of taking off and sliding, as opposed to taking hits, because I mean, he is a smaller guy, and it makes him quick, it makes him agile, it makes him a good athlete. But I mean, dude, I really worry about him getting injured if he doesn't have the proper protection, if he doesn't play smart.
Because he's not the size of Anthony Richardson.
He is out to try and prove himself, and I just don't want him getting big for his britches and going out there and making silly mistakes trying to prove himself. But if he can play smart and he can play behind that line and he can utilize those running backs and he can utilize Terry McLaurin, then I absolutely feel like he is he has been set up for success 100%.
And it's crazy, man. Like, I feel like maybe 3 years ago, you would look at the NFC East and they were the laughing stock. At least in my opinion,
Yeah, it's fair. That's a fair point.
And
I think too.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, to wrap up the Jaden Daniels and his comment thing, is if I were running the Washington offense, to put Jaden Daniels in the best possible situation to succeed with trading Jahan Dotson to the Eagles, that's telling me that where I would run the offense to be most comfortable for him is, it's a little old school and it's a little bit different, but having Brian Robinson to his left and Eckler to his right at snap, so he can have Eckler go off to the flat to run for a pass if that's the option, or if he doesn't feel like risking his body, taking the big hit, handed it over to Robinson to get the 1 or 2 yards that are needed, and then just send Luke McCaffrey and McLaren on those go post routes that they're built to do, and trust Jaden's arm to throw it deep or throw it far enough to get past the first down and get some yards after catch. And then if you have to, just rely over the old new rookie tight end just to catch it right at the sticks of the flat, and just give the more protection you have back there for him, I feel is better off for him. So it eliminates more of a risk of him getting injured by a linebacker or a corner coming off the edge and just absolutely destroying him.
Blindside, yeah. Somebody's got to get his blindside for sure. But yeah, a split backfield, RPOs, a strict playbook for him this season would only benefit him greatly. And I agree 100%, Justin. 100% agree with what you're saying, dude. Absolutely. And, Reese, I think I saw your last comment, man. You've been waiting for McLaurin to get the praise, that he deserves. That man has put up, he's such an athlete. And you know what? He's been on Washington and he sat there through mediocre shit season after season. He hasn't complained. He hasn't asked for big numbers. He just wants to play ball, man. And I think this season he's finally going to get
big money.
Get the mouth shut long enough. I think this was like his season. I think them getting rid of Dotson was a big exclamation point at the end of Terry McLaurin's name. And yeah, dude, I'm 100% with you. Like I said, me going out of my way to draft a man, I take every draft pick in fantasy 100% seriously, like I'm paid for it, because I am.
Exactly.
And this season, to say that I'm drafting McLaurin at his ADP, not just, I'm not going above and beyond or anything, because his value is great. I agree with you 100%, bro.
Yes, his situation is infinitely better. I haven't drafted him in a single draft since he entered the league because he didn't have the situation that valued where he should be drafted at, because he didn't have the quarterback. He didn't have the offense that was capable of getting him to the production that you thought his ceiling could be. This year, if he's there, I'm taking him because I believe it with Jaden Daniels. I believe it with this new ownership, this new regime, this new coaching staff, that they're going to take care of him and also protect their investment in Jaden, and they will flourish for it.
Dude, Washington almost made the playoffs last season. They didn't make the playoffs. They were right there.
No, they pooped the bed at the end of the year.
They were right there though. That whole division was almost in the playoffs. So it's not like they were far off. They have a solid.
Yeah, they're close. They're close.
McLaurin. Yeah,
and as a Lions fan, I know that vision. I know that seeing when your team is close but not there yet. Like they're close. There's hope there. There's light. It's not darkness anymore. They have a spot where they can compete in that division.
So yeah, we got Nino Pena. Shout out Nino Pena. He says,
shout out, man.
He got offered Hurts, Kincaid, and Ayuk or Waddle. I guess Ayuk or Waddle. Ayuk / Waddle.
Yeah.
For Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pickens.
Yeah, I'll let Shiny take it first.
What do you think?
Man.
First, okay, so let's break this down.
Kelsey stack is pretty damn good, but there's going to be weeks where you're going to suffer as a result of it. But I don't know, man. I see Hurts top 3, obviously. I see Kincaid in the top 5 of tight ends, but Kelsey there as well. I mean, Mahomes, I think he could be outside the top 5 of quarterbacks, to be honest.
Dude, Mahomes hurt me a lot last season.
Waddle,
he did get Drake London on you.
Waddle and Pickens, depending on where Ayuk ends up or if he stays in San I think all those guys have similar value. So, I mean, this trade is fair. It would be fair
agreed.
to make. It's more of a matter of, are you okay with it, Nino?
He's a Lions fan, so I feel like
they're coming out of the woodworks now.
Yeah,
I want to do my. Oh man, I want to do my sound.
Hey, you see that they caused 2 false starts over the weekend on the Steelers? We got their first home preseason game. They got them to do 2 full starts. That was pretty nice. Campbell gave him props to him at the post game too, of like, man, these guys are loud and it's only preseason. But so what side of it, Shawnee, are you going for the trade?
So
or not even
he
taking it at
has
all. I
Mahomes.
mean, that's
He
also an
has
option too.
Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pickens, and he's getting offered Hurts, Kincaid, and Waddle or Ayuk.
See,
Oh man, see, this would be one I would have to think on for a minute, man. I can't just make an immediate decision here. I'd have to weigh the options because it's an even trade. It really
Yeah.
is. It's the matter of, are these guys players that I'm going to like this season? What the schedules look like? I don't know, because I've drafted Hurts, I've drafted Kincaid. I just haven't drafted Ayuk or Waddle. I haven't drafted Mahomes. I haven't drafted Kelsey, and I have drafted Pickens. So it's like it's an even trade, but I don't know if I would pull the trigger on it right away. It would take me some time to chill on it.
I know what I would do. Well,
oh man. Go ahead.
Are
Sorry.
you pulling trigger?
oh, I was like, so yeah.
No. This isn't my draft. This isn't my question. My draft starts in 10 minutes.
I would personally hold the Mahomes Kelsey stack because I'm also a believer in Pickens. I think he's going to be the alpha in that offense, and he's going to be a dominant force once the quarterback position gets comfortable there this season and settles in. I feel like he's going to be the go-to guy for whoever's back there throwing it to him. And long term, I'd rather have that value in Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pickens.
Yeah.
I'm totally out on Waddle. I'm not a Waddle believer. I'm not drafting Waddle anywhere. Or Ayuk. Because I'm not personally, I'm not touching those guys because I don't know the Ayuk situation. It doesn't make me comfortable. And with Waddle, I had him last year, and he annoyed the hell out of me because I started him games where he was hurt and got knocked out, and then I benched him in the games that he blew up. And it hurt me, and I didn't like it. And then Kincaid and the Kelsey, I think that's just an even part of it. But like the deciding factors is I'm not comfortable with the Ayuk Waddle part of it. And I'm more comfortable with where I see Pickens being by the end of this season if the quarterback room calms down, settles in, and does him justice and treating him like the alpha now that Deontay's gone. They don't really have a tight end threat. And they're all
you know what? I'm gonna strap on and I'm gonna go with Justin, and I'm gonna decline this one. I'm gonna stick with the Mahomes Kelsey stack. And the Pickens upside, the Pickens ceiling, for sure.
I like the Pickens upside over a Waddle because as long as Tyreek Hill's there, Waddle is just.
Dude, he has those games where, it's cool. He gets like 16, maybe 20, but most of the time it's like 1 for 30 or, 2 for 23. And you're like, dude, I can't have this guy in my flex getting 4.5 points a week. And I was right there with you. And it was kind of like that the season before as well.
Yeah.
The season before that,
I had
he was
2
really
seasons
good.
in a row. And I was just like, this year, I'm out. He's my Drake London is just said, like, I'm out. Like, I get it. He's talented. He has potential. He has the ability. But his production is capped as long as Hill is there and he stays healthy. Whereas I can see Pickens just taking that up to a wide receiver 1 level. Like last year, Pickens was a wide receiver 2 solid in my lineups. This year, I feel he can get up to a wide receiver 1 as long as that Steelers offense is competent, can get him the ball as much as he deserves it to be there, and they treat him in the offense.
Seems to have good chemistry with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with, like you said, with Deontay gone, they just cut Quez Watkins. I mean, this could very well be the Pickens show, and the man is the talent for it. So, yeah, absolutely. The upside to who you have compared to the upside of the latter, Jalen Hurts is really the only value there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to agree with Justin 100%, and you got to decline that trade and stick with what you got, man. Have faith in what you got.
What do you feel, Ced? Where are you going?
Well, I mean, I think I feel that way too, but only because of who I am. I think I would probably be like, man, screw Mahomes, screw Kelsey. I'm gonna go with the younger ones. The only thing is that throws me off is Kincaid. If it was like Laporta or maybe McBride, one of those other top tight ends over Kincaid, maybe even Brock Bowers, just for some spice. I'd probably go for it. But yeah,
I think that's a trade for me. You're just taking on too much risk. And I don't
or if it was like the Allen Kincaid stack.
That
that would
See,
change.
that would be
Yeah.
a different story. Then,
Yeah, that's a
then it's
different
like,
story
okay,
because Alan
yeah,
Kincaid, I'm smashing that. The Ayuk
Yeah,
Waddle
if
situation
you
is a
go
dip because
stack for stack with the flex as
mm-hmm,
the option in the wind, that changes shit.
yeah,
mm-hmm,
I would not do that trade. Maybe like I said, if it was one of those top or maybe different
mm-hmm,
yeah, Kelsey Mahomes stack just kind of push
mm-hmm,
like Shawnee said, you're gonna live by that, die by that.
mm-hmm,
They're gonna take you super high, but you're gonna have some weeks where they're gonna be average and they're gonna be
mm-hmm.
super low.
But I'd rather
You
take
guys gonna
that
miss
risk
out.
I
than
would
the
take
risk of
their
Waddle and Ayuk.
floor. Yeah, I would take their floor over the floor of Hurts
Mm-hmm.
Kincaid all day long,
Definitely,
and especially with what
definitely.
the possibility of the ceiling
What?
being.
Oh, is that true, Reese? About Knox?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
They said that last season, and then you saw who Allen was dumping off to every time
You're
that
welcome,
Josh
Nino.
Allen got into a bind. It was Kincaid
Yeah.
Okay.
every time.
So it's just probably noise.
They,
I haven't been following the Bills or their camp or their stuff, so I'm not well
I
versed
don't
in
follow
what.
the Bills at all. I mean, honestly, I follow them a little bit because of Von Miller, because I follow Von Miller.
Yeah, for
Obviously,
sure.
but like I don't pay attention to the Bills.
Yeah,
I don't know what's
no
going on.
worries, bro. That's what we're here for, bro. We got your
Mm-hmm,
back. Make sure you
absolutely.
like,
Woo!
subscribe, man. We'll give you the best possible
Nino
advice that
Pino.
we can, given our experience, man. And
Mhm.
like
In the
we
personal
always
fresh
preach,
taste,
that we're here to
not
get
the
you a
standard
championship, dog.
media output.
We
Right.
appreciate you, homie.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
I'm looking at this chat in my league is about the draft, and
mm-hmm.
my Cameron, my business manager, he's like, Cedric, my expectations for you are very high. You can't have a podcast and lose to Caleb in week 3. And then
Wow.
and then so yeah, check it. So check this. Yeah.
Damn.
Arnold, my service advisor, comes back and goes, no, not Caleb. He beat us all last year auto drafting. He auto drafted in his league last year and he made it to the finals, and I'm pretty sure he won. So
Man. There's
we'll
a
see how
special
it
place in
goes.
hell for people who win
That's
who auto draft.
dirty.
Yeah, I mean, but auto draft you can't. I just hate it.
Do you
because
really
it's
claim the win?
bad.
Like I wouldn't. Like I'd be cool. Like okay, I won. But
I would take it.
I didn't
I
do
would
that. I
take it. But I'm
didn't
not
draft
auto
the
drafting.
team.
And the
I'm not
championship.
Well, did he
auto
do any
drafting.
waiver wire stuff,
computer.
or was it just?
Hey, well, I wasn't in the league that last year. I just
Oh, okay.
I hope
I was
he
gonna say like
played
if
the waiver at least.
yeah, then that's fair. But if he just straight autoed and didn't pay attention to the waivers,
Yeah,
and
Well,
he
the
yeah,
still
there were
winner of
won.
your
trades and
league
stuff
was
throughout the year from
technically a
what I
computer,
hear.
Okay,
dog.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's
the
see
winner
Nino
what
of
the
your
hell
Pena,
is
league
thanks
was
for the like.
computer.
Nino Pena,
Thank
thanks for
you,
liking
thank
the
you.
subscription, bro. Yeah, don't forget to share. Tell everybody, bro, we're different or whatever.
We're here for you.
Yeah,
Here for all of you.
We're here to talk fantasy football. Come chat with us.
Mm-hmm.
Kick it with us. Thanks for kicking it with us, guys. Again, you're
I'm
watching
curious to
Shady
see.
Sports Fantasy. What's up?
I thought I saw a comment about Godwin. I was kind of curious to see where you guys were thinking about him in that offense this year with Baker.
Every time I see Godwin left down at his ADP, I usually take him. I usually take him just because, man.
I feel like you have to, right?
We all know what his ceiling can be.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's
he's
the
proven
thing.
it. He just had an unfortunate injury season last year.
Well, dude, I just feel like Baker's chemistry with Evans is, they found it last season, and it was one that, was insanity.
Magical. Yeah, it's one of those years.
Not only were they connecting, but it was like end zone stuff, like it was making them both very relevant. And Evans always has been, but it was like, where you thought he was starting to slouch. No, I mean, like at his age to have that connection, and, that's like a blessing, and to see Evans still going where he's going in drafts has been pretty cool to see. And the fact that I've taken him, those couple of times because he's been that guy you can count on. And I still have Baker in Dynasty as well. But yeah.
That was the stack that rode me to the championship game.
80 yards receiving per game last year. I think that speaks for itself. Wow, is that really a stat? He had 80 yards, 80
That's
receiving
incredible.
yards a game?
So where does Knox fit? I don't think the Knox, no. if that stat
Yeah,
is.
I mean, I know he was in there here and there, and he had I know he had receptions last season. I know he was in the mix, but I know that it's been the Kincaid show.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a younger guy. All signs point to the fact that, Kincaid's in, Knox is going to fade out.
Yeah.
I don't see Kincaid having that season he had last season and then Knox coming in and taking his job or taking over so much that it affects him.
What happens?
Reese, we're live. Reese, we're live every week, every Tuesday,
every
6
week.
p.m. 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time was at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Every week,
5
bro.
p.m. Cali time.
Week during the regular season.
Every week during the regular season, and then we'll go to movie reviews. No, I'm just joking.
I mean,
nah.
That's to change my playbook there.
Yeah, I mean, with all the stuff out there, we just want to be your go-to fantasy fantasy football show. We definitely want to be interactive.
Let them know about the other show too.
Yeah, we got Mile High Bandwagon. That's gonna be more of a whole NFL type of show. So that'll be more than fantasy football. So,
yeah, we talk some fantasy, but we more talk about the week in the NFL.
Yeah, and then I think we try to catch you up on like the Monday night
injuries,
the Thursday night
transactions, like player news, all that stuff.
And we'll be talking Broncos, Lions, Steelers, because those are our teams.
And how bad the Raiders are.
Dum, da, da,
yeah, how bad the Raiders and the Bears are, right?
For sure.
Adams, the poor bastard.
Somebody please trade for Devon.
Hey,
put Devontae Adams on the Commanders, opposite of McLaurin.
Opposite of Ayuk, right? With McLaurin. Damn, that would be a freaking receiving room right there.
For Jaden Daniels, imagine that ceiling for him.
We can only.
My draft started.
And see which one.
Yeah, who you taking, Ced? Who you taking?
Who was the first pick? CeeDee Lamb was the first pick.
The wrong answer is Caleb Williams. You don't.
Caleb Williams?
No.
Yeah. I'm taking Caleb Williams then. Bijan Robinson still available. Breece Hall still available. Jamar Chase still available. Justin Jefferson still available. And I'm 4 picks away.
Well, how do you feel about this league? Do you feel more wide receiver heavy? You want to get your running back room figured out, or do you want to take a shot on a QB right away? How are you feeling about this league and this vibe? Because you know these guys you draft with, right? Like where you feel like people could come falling back to you and what players can be coming down to you at your spot.
I mean, I think I should probably pick up Breece Hall. Can't really pass up on him. I just don't, man. Bijan Robinson, I just think about back to that game last season where he just didn't even play. He was hurt. They didn't say anything at all.
I had Bijan Robinson last year, and I had Jalen Waddle last year, and I was mad at both of them.
That was coaching issues. The coaches to announce 45 minutes before the game the injuries, and they didn't. And they benched him because he fumbled for full games. They have a different coach now. The game script for Bijan is going to be different because the coach.
Agreed.
Well, Bijan was snatched up anyway.
I personally believe in Breece over Bijan. So that's where I would
personally believe in Breece over Bijan. Breece proved it last season when he had
after that serious injury too. Like he came back from a ACL tear, and he came back as a full-blown workhorse power back. Receiving out of the back, and he did it with crap quarterbacks.
ACL, Hey, Justin, there was a question for you on the bottom. Being a Lions fan and the bias of being a Lion, do you believe the hype in Jordan Love?
Like Caleb Williams, right?
Actually,
if Breece Hall's gone.
Between the two of them, I think the hype on Caleb Williams is way overblown, whereas the hype for Jordan Love is probably about where it should be. He proved it at the end of last year. He had his falters in the middle of the year. And I think for the value of where you could get him in fantasy drafts, like the 8th round, 9th round, like your pick 8 or what, like that, I think the Packers have a lot going for them into this year. What's going to separate the Packers from the Lions and the Bears is their consistency on offense running the ball, and how well they do that, and how well Love gets the production out of all of those plethora of receivers that he has. They have the talent, they have the youth and the potential to compete and go and win that division, but it's about the consistency of production they get and closing out games with their running game that the Lions have proven they can do with their offense. Like, I think Love is I know his contract that he received, yeah, it's a little steep and it's a little high, but looking at it through running a team and a GM side of it, who else do you got there? I mean, you just signed Malik. You traded for Malik Williams as your backup. Like, Love is their guy. That's who they have available to them. There's nobody that I see that they could draft past him and replace him with.
They
like, that's their dude.
when they still had Rodgers. So obviously they have a lot of faith and a lot invested in that man.
It's just unfortunate that like he's getting more hype and whatnot over Goff, which, you know, is unfortunate, but he also did well enough last year to get that respect of being a top 12, 15 quarterback in the NFL. And that, you know, being a Lions fan, yeah, it sucks that he's getting the recognition and the hype over Goff in the division, but I mean, Matt LaFleur knows how to run a competent offense. Love showed it last year in the playoffs that he can make a deep run with that team with what they had last year. So now it's on his shoulders this year to put that money where his talent is. Like, they paid him to be a top 5, top 3 quarterback. Now he needs to perform and live up to that hype of a top 3, top 5 quarterback in this league.
Right, but I think they were really just trying to get out ahead of it, though. I think
that's part too, because they don't have a backup plan. They don't, like, they've shown it with what they're doing this offseason. They cut their other 2 quarterbacks they had going into camp. They traded for Malik Willis, who's proven to be a not proven NFL quarterback that the Titans were willing to trade them and part ways with. So they're in the sense that it makes sense to them as an organization that they push their chips all in on Love and boost his confidence up with them. Be like, yes, we believe in you. Exactly. Yes, you're our guy. Yes, you're this great. But you're really, yeah, like this year he'll be battle tested.
See, this is why I love Justin, man, because he always has an even head on his shoulders about his opinion, regardless who he's a fan of. Mm-hmm. Everything he just said about Love, regardless of being a Lions fan, is the truth. And
he didn't want to say it though. His head's about to blow up.
That's.
I mean, I don't like saying it, but I also have the realization of like I understand it more that like, yeah, I want to like badmouth them as much as possible, but reality is that the Packers have proven. Yeah, the Packers have proven that they should be respected and a little bit feared in that division, that it's not going to be a cakewalk for the Lions, and Love is going to have a huge part of nipping at the Lions' heels all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be a good rivalry, dude.
Mm-hmm. Those games are fun to go to. I went from 10 years ago being like showing up at Packers games in my Lions gear, laughed at, and just be like, ha, little brother, you guys are just like, whatever, you guys suck at it. And now the last 2 years I've been going to Lions fans or Packers games as a Lions fan. It's been a little bit more quieter, a little bit more respect, a little bit more like, all right.
I dig that. Okay. Dude, we gotta really seriously help this guy out. Man, for you to even consider this is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, hold on before we get to it, Shawnee.
Okay.
Yo. Before we get to it, let's take a quick break, Shawnee. I'm gonna take a quick pause.
He was on a roll, said.
I know. We're gonna take a pause, start another promo in here.
Yeah, he could take it
out a little longer, so we'll just throw a promo in here real quick, and then we'll get this question answered, and then we'll go from there.
Perfect.
Boop, boop.
All right, cool.
How are you? Bring them things. I call the plug. Bring them things.
That's money. That's cash up.
Forever you and me, right by my side, where you ought to be. Let me hear you now.
Yes, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us this past hour 45.
It doesn't feel like that though, man. I've been having so much fun. It feels like we just started.
We're back in it.
So
I mean, you guys, I think you can agree by looking at this. He would get A-Chain, DK, Devontae Smith for Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Williams, Mike Evans, and Jordan Addison. Dude, I wouldn't even consider this. I would have looked at that and immediately hit decline, bro. I'm not giving up Williams because he's my first round pick for anybody, better, anybody other than like, I don't know, Lamar, Hurts, Allen, and
maybe those guys.
And that's maybe. And then, A-Chain is overvalued. Metcalf is in the highlight of his twilight with Geno. I mean, still a good value, I guess. But the Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Williams, and Mike Evans, those three guys right there are just. And then you add Addison on top of that. You can't. Whoever's trying to offer you that it kind of pisses me off a little bit, actually. But
yeah,
I
you want to bring those players back
That's
up?
That's just my opinion. Justin, what do you think?
Yeah, if Cedric can bring those players back up, and I'll break it down for them player by player. So for me, with the risk reward payout, you can't hear me? Did I mute myself or?
No, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can't.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh
well, go ahead.
Because I got my volume blasted here. Okay. To break it down,
I can hear
the higher variance players in this trade are Jordan Addison and Devon Achane, so that cancels each other out. So their values, they could have high spikes, high busts. I'm not invested in either one of those players. So as far as the trade goes, I'm looking past those two. Where it comes to the meat and potatoes of the deal here is, are you willing to send the prospect of Caleb Williams' potential, whether this is a redraft or a dynasty, sending Caleb Williams and what he could become for DK and Devonta Smith, which DK has got quarterback question marks after the season. Is it going to be Geno Smith? Is it going to be Sam Howell? We don't know. And with Devonta Smith, he's got A.J. Brown.
You still can't hear him. Shiny can't hear you, Justin.
Damn.
I guess for some
What's
reason.
He saying?
But I like Devon. I like DK's spunk. So
I like his spunk. I like
he
his
doesn't
vibe.
think it's a good pick. Hold on, Justin. I'm going to pull you off and bring you back on. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. So hold on. Here we go. There we go. Let's try to keep it going. Can you say something, Justin? Let's see if
so
there he is. I got him now.
Okay, so I'll run it back. I'll run it back real quick the last 30 seconds. So in this trade deal, the way I look at it, I'm breaking it down player values by player values. The Devon Achane aspect of it and the Jordan Addison for where you're swapping, those cancel out. Those are high risk, high variance players that I'm not willing to invest in and put in part of the trade, because you're asking a lot for Jordan Addison to live up to the value of Devon Achane. And then you also have the potential of both of those two players now living up to their ceiling potential throughout the season. So those two values of those two players kind of cancel each other out and are null and void in this trade. Where the meat and potatoes of this deal is between, are you that invested in DK and Devonta Smith as your wide receiving core and willing to sacrifice a proven commodity that is Mike Evans, the most consistent wide receiver that has been in the last decade?
Yeah, but he was a little slow at times too, though. There was a lot of games where Mike Evans lost in the
he is one. He's probably won people more fantasy championships in the last 5 years than DK Metcalf has and Devonta Smith combined.
Yeah, he's right.
That's where so for my opinion, this is where I'm coming from where I'm valuing this. That's so. Oh, right there, I have Mike Evans combined with DK and Devonta Smith it's a lopsided trade. And then you're basically giving him your future and quarterback with Caleb Williams with that high potential. And then on top of that, the consistency and the workhorse role that JT has in that Colts offense. He's the guy, he's got no competition. He's going to be there for a while. He's going to be a stud and continue to be a stud as long as he's healthy. So you could balance out the trade by asking for more of a higher valued running back one to swap out with Achan, and then
John or Brees.
Yeah, somebody, and then I mean I think you're trading away way too much value at this moment right now going into your future. Like it depends too if you're a rebuilding team or if you're a contender, because this is a clear trade of someone who's trying to compete and contend that has the Achan and the DK and the Devonta, and they're trying to upgrade to get into the championships, where you have a ready to win now team with JT as your running back one, Caleb as your quarterback, and Evans and Jordan and Addison as your wide receiver 1 and 2. Hopefully Addison isn't your wide receiver 2. He's more of a 3 or a flex. But the value that, regardless of redraft or dynasty, you are lopsidedly handing over more talent and more value throughout your season than you are getting in return overall, in my opinion. So I would turn down the trade, or I would respectfully ask for more value to counter them with.
So we got Philly Mike OG is asking for help. Tell us what you need help with, bro. Like, you gotta tell us. Come on, show us what you're working with, bro. Show us what you got going on. We here.
And my word isn't gold. That's just how I personally would do it. I don't know how you would do it, Seany.
Nah, word is bond, son.
I did.
Word is bond,
in my opinion, with the experience that I have in fantasy, if that trade came into my inbox, I would be insulted by it. I would say that the guy who offered that to you is looking to take advantage of you or thinks you're a slouch. And I think it's messed up, but I've just been doing this for a long time, and I know the guys that I play with have the respect not to offer garbage for diamonds, and that's what he's trying to do. Is he's trying to come up, dude. Jonathan Taylor, Caleb Williams, and Mike Evans for not even an RB1 or an RB2, you know, or a wide receiver one, you know, like that's just,
or a quarterback in return. All
right, so we're off that. On to the next. So we got Phil here. Yeah, so I mean, no, it makes sense. Like you're saying, that was kind of a wacky trade. It was very, very lopsided, right? Like you're getting a whole lot of nothing for a whole lot of something and a whole lot of maybe. So
counter.
Yeah,
counter with something with more value. Show them that you care.
Tell them you want picks for next season. All their first round picks for next season. On top of that. So we got
Jonathan Taylor and Tank
Dell for Amon-Ra St. Brown. No. Why would you do that when Tank Dell is going to be on the same level as Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I don't know. That's
here's the defining thing for me personally. Is this redraft or dynasty?
Trade.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, like Justin said, what is this redraft or this dynasty? Like Reese said, what's your wide receiver and running back?
Yeah, I'm trying to hold my bias behind my face right now as much.
No, I'm saying no. I'm not doing that because Tank Dell is gonna come on. St. Brown's gonna be good for sure. It's dynasty. And it's dynasty? No.
It's dynasty?
No. Why would you do that? Why?
All right. The name of the game in dynasty, Philly Mike, is longevity, bro.
Yeah.
So,
and I think Tank Dell is
into consideration when you're making this decision. This trade is this is another one of those ones where it's not a horrible offer. It's just a matter of where you're at with your team, who you got surrounding them, what your bye weeks are, and if you like the guys that you're getting in exchange. There could be a counter here where you could maybe ask for a running back, maybe a tier 3 running back to go along with, just to help the value a little bit. But I don't know, man. This is one of those ones where it's kind of on you, where you're at with your team. I mean, Amon-Ra is amazing, dude, but, had to have Jonathan Taylor and, Tank Dell, injury has plagued him. He has proved himself when he's on the field, but the fact of the matter is he's got to be on the field to help you.
Yeah, but
he's got Stephon Diggs on top of Nico Collins to mess with his pass share.
Oh, he offered Amon-Ra for Jonathan Taylor and Higgins.
So he's offering Amon-Ra for the 2 players.
Yeah.
Oh.
And his wide receiver. So I offered Amon-Ra for JT and T. Higgins.
Don't do that, bro.
Don't do that, bro.
And his wide receivers are what was that again? Mike Evans, Xavier Worthy.
T. Higgins.
And Terry McLaurin.
And this is Dynasty?
This is Dynasty.
Turkey.
If it were me, I would personally hold Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I would offer Mike Evans and a second for JT and Tank Dell.
There you go. There you go. That's a nice counter. That's a good
That would be
counter.
my personal counter. As much bias because I want to keep Amon-Ra, but at the same time, I have to give something up in order to get that. And Mike Evans would be that guy because he's proven it. He's a consistent commodity. Although, as well as I acknowledge he's aging, but to follow it up with my next year's second round pick on top of Mike Evans is you're getting that security of that consistent play in Mike Evans, but you're also getting a high value draft pick depending on where I might fall in wherever league, but you're still at least getting my second round. If I don't have my third or whatever, like depending on what available, that's what I would start the counter at is Mike Evans in a second for JT and Tank.
There you go. I like that. And to just keep it simple and easy and not add to it and keep this thing going for longer and longer. I agree.
So he traded Amon-Ra for Justin Taylor and T. Higgins. Remember, he has those other quarterbacks or receivers, so he got rid of Amon-Ra.
And Jalen Waddle. I don't know. We just talked about these guys.
Yeah.
You know, these are some guys that we just kind of talked about and touched base on, Mike. And I think that, I don't know, you maybe missed that the value of these guys are going down.
Not up.
So the trade is accepted as in the past. So where I see it is he's hoping Jonathan Taylor remains healthy and is in a top 5, at least top 5 running back this entire season.
Gotta be.
And you're hoping for the fact that T. Higgins possibly goes to a different situation where he can be a wide receiver 1 or an alpha in that offense. Otherwise, his value is capped as long as he stays with the Bengals behind Chase, which makes him more of a wide receiver 2, top 30 wide receiver. So you're giving up a top 5 wide receiver for a top 10 running back at the moment and a top 30 wide receiver.
Yeah, man, the value just wasn't there, bro. You pulled the trigger too quick.
Yeah, I won't say
especially in Dynasty, man. He needs he needs to offer you something for your future, bro.
And I by no means make anybody feel guilty or remorseful for the trade. But at the same time,
look at this. That's his opponent's receivers.
Oh my God!
And
you just
Amon-Ra, Seany,
Cooper you just pretty much
that's another factor into it. That's what
you just gave your season to this guy, dude.
Yeah,
he just beat everybody by his wide receiver. He's got 80 points at least in that wide receiver room right there.
Oh man, can't play them all though, right? You play 3 of them.
This is what we're here for.
No, you could. I mean, anyway you slice it, he's still winning because he's got 4 solid wide receiver ones.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's
like
every week, at least.
Well, like say Cooper Kupp's on the bye week.
Jonathan Taylor has all those 50-point games again.
Because like the way I see it too, okay, Amon-Ra's on the bye. Well, he's got CeeDee Lamb and Cooper Kupp as his wide receiver 1 and 2, and he's got Nico in his flex.
It's a 3 receiver.
He has a 3 wide
receiver. Oh, it's a 3 receiver. Now he's starting all 3 of them, and he's got one of them in his flex at all times, unless there's a bye.
Everybody else around you is going to think this is collusion, dog.
Well, I think they're going to be really scared, and I think there's going to be a lot more trades within this league to try to compete with that team because that wide receiver room is now that alone makes up for if they have like a quarterback.
I've never seen Justin get so frustrated he takes his glasses off, dog. You made Justin take his glasses off.
I just now seeing that, I definitely would have withheld Amon-Ra because you got to factor in what the other team has.
Yeah, man.
Their build and what
sucks. But hey, the good thing about Dynasty is you have the option to rebuild. And
you can turn around and you can flip it.
This is a perfect example too of like
Taylor as trade bait.
Hopefully, he got
Taylor
paid.
is trade bait to try and get yourself another top 8, maybe top 5 wide receiver in your wide receiver room because T. Higgins is going to do nothing for you except maybe be a viable flex given the week.
Mm-hmm.
Other than
at
that,
best, it's a wide receiver too. If Chase has a bad game or he's injured out and he's Burrow's go-to guy.
And that's Justin being nice and giving you best case scenario, bro. Just try and you do what you can to use what you got as trade bait. Maybe let us know the rest of your roster.
He said everyone's laughing at him in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah, it's hatred, man.
Well, no, like on honesty, so like the trade has happened, it's passed now. It's most likely not getting reversed unless if there's a trade veto system in the league.
Yeah,
I would now
that's
play
the best
my
part
team.
about fantasy, man. This is supposed to be fun. So just do what you can to look at your roster and use some trade bait to try and get yourself another wide receiver. You should have never let Amon-Ra go. That's all there is to it, but we're past it.
For me going into his season, it's going to be a long season, but if you're not pushing to get that top 2 pick for next year, then that really is going to bite you with this trade.
Yeah,
you really need to build your team now in Dynasty.
Should have come a first or a second round draft pick for next season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Cole Good. Cole Good says, never done a fantasy football draft before until today.
Well, welcome to fantasy football, bro.
Yeah,
what's up, dude?
Host your team. He wants us, Cole wants us to rate.
Absolutely, I'll rate your team. And most importantly, welcome to fantasy football. You're going to have one hell of a time.
It's a cool way to watch the game, right? It gives you a different experience watching games.
Just don't root for the Bears. You'll be good.
No Bears.
No Browns. No Bears, no Browns.
Yeah, exactly. Just stay away from orange teams.
We'll get back.
There you go, Portland Sutton.
There you go. There you go. That makes that.
Who's your
you're
QB2,
working on building back that wide receiver room. I like that.
Who's your QB2?
He traded Kirk Cousins for Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
All right. In Dynasty? All right.
All right. So we got Cole. He was the 5th pick in a 10-team league.
Okay, let's see this, Cole.
He has Bijan, Kamara, Cook, Spears for running back. Nakua, Smith, McLaurin, Samuel, Worthy, Kirk for wide receiver.
Okay.
Laporta and Dak for tight end and quarterback. And the Jets defense.
Yes, Jets defense. Love it.
The Jets D is definitely top 3 as long as you're going team defense for sure. Bijan is obviously your number 1 value. Cook is going to do phenomenal this year because he realized what he can do, and the playbook is going to revolve more around him. I think Cup plays into Nakua's role, as we talked about earlier. Same thing with A.J. Brown for Smith. We talked about McLaurin, his value going up with Daniels at QB now. Worthy, the fastest 40 in history with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. We haven't got the eye test yet, but I like it for its value. Kirk is always a good flex week to week, a guy who can bail you out. Laporta, obviously number 1. And I don't like Dak personally, but that's just me. Doesn't mean to say that he doesn't.
Contract year. Dak trying to get a contract.
He out
here trying to get a scholarship. So I think Dak's gonna be doing.
That stings a little bit more taking Dak if you're a Giants fan. Oh, hey, he might be a Giant next year. You never know.
Yeah, looking at
the way
the future.
that they've been trading within the division. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey man, I'll give you a B plus A minus. That's I say you got probably I don't know. I'll give you a 70 to 75% chance of making the playoffs this season, depending on how you run the team. It has a lot to do with how you run your team, how consistent you are with it, and how smart you play the waiver. But that's me. Justin, what do you think?
I absolutely agree with the majority of that. I would give, depending if it's redraft, that's definitely a minus in a redraft. In Dynasty, that's probably a B plus for me. For the age at quarterback, I don't know what your depth is there. And as far as the running backs are phenomenal. I like the prospect of Cook this year going into the season with the Bills. And Bijan is, going to be CMC light, hopefully, best case scenario. With the wide receivers, I think McLaurin is his 1 hot take, Puka 2, Devonta's 3, and then Xavier's 4, and Samuel is his 5th. So overall, I think he did very well for a person who's just getting to fantasy football.
Yeah, dude,
that was a phenomenal draft overall because you're still going to have great value with Dak. He's got CeeDee Lamb, arguably the best wide receiver going into this year in the league. He's going to have to throw to, and their run offense isn't really anything to be excited about. So he's probably going to be relied on to throw 30, 40 times a game, which means more opportunity for points. And then for Laporta, I mean, that's a solid pick for your tight end. I mean, he's Goff's, second in command for security blanket over there in the offense. So if he can do anything to replicate same or similar as last year's value, you'll be just fine at tight end. He'll have probably a positional advantage for most of the year, unless if you're playing somebody who has like a potential of a McBride or a Kincaid or a Andrews or a Kelsey. Otherwise, you have the advantage most weeks at that position at tight end with Laporta. I think it was a great draft. Good props to you, man, for that draft your first time around. I don't know if you had any advice or any books or any references or any sort of material going into it. If you just did that completely blind, I'm impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No mocks, I mean, obviously you're coming to us after and asking how you're doing. That's pretty impressive giving a first time draft. And yeah, let us know. I know you didn't give them a week, but let us know if this is redraft or if it's keeper, or because if it's keeper, you have some longevity there too. I mean, obviously dynasty as well with Worthy. Yeah, man. So overall, really good job, really, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck this season, dude, for sure.
And we're here to help you if you keep coming back to us throughout the season. We'll help you build that team.
We're here weekly, bro. We can help you with subs, waiver wire, whatever you need. We're here weekly, dude.
Yeah.
What is Philly Mike saying down here?
Yeah, Philly Mike's in the middle of the draft, I guess. And he was asking us who we should draft for, I guess, the fourth pick.
Either take Richardson or Stroud, bro.
Right?
If those four are already off the board.
Wait, those four are gone?
No, I think that's what he said. The first four picks went Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Jackson. Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Patty, Allen, Lamar, and Jalen were the first four picks.
Okay.
He's the fifth pick.
I mean, you got
super flex.
I mean, you got Caleb, you got Love, you got Stroud, you got Richardson, you got I mean, dude, there's still really good talent on the board. We got Brock Purdy. I mean, it's super flex, so you're gonna want to take,
Yeah. For me, I think if I'm in win now mode, I'd be more tempted to take a Stroud over a Richardson. Yeah. But if I'm in more of like a contender, make it to the playoffs, see what happens, I'm willing to take that risk and the variance of Richardson from being hurt and what he could become and be, or what he could be capped at. So
he took Joe Burrow. If you took Burrow as one, if Stroud's still on the board, man, you need to. I think.
Not mad here. Not mad here. Bro. I'm just curious on how.
Who's there.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see the rest of your build going with Burrow.
Burrow's not a bad pick, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Weren't we talking about that earlier? Or I was talking about. I don't know who I was talking about.
It was a couple of shows ago. You brought up Burrow.
Yeah, people were so down on Burrow because of his injuries, but he said Stroud went next.
Okay. I'm curious. I'm legitimately not mad at all. I'm curious to see how you're going to build your team with Burrow as your QB1.
No, Richard. Well, dude, they're all going to go. They're the top QBs, man.
Why are the quarterbacks going in the first round?
In Superflex
try
Dynasty,
and grab Purdy, bro. If Purdy's left, try and grab Brock.
So in a Superflex,
in Superflex, you want to have at least 3 starting quarterbacks on your roster, depending on the league size for Superflex, because the most point variances that you have. I mean, you don't have to start a quarterback in your Superflex, but just the highest potential output for that position is to have a quarterback in the Superflex spot.
Okay.
When is your next pick, bro? I'm trying to help you. I got to get off here and say
Yeah, I am.
I was going to say, I need to get off here too here soon. I was going to leave you guys on here if you want to keep.
I'm dip. I mean, if you have to shut it down, that's fine. We can continue this, another time. You're the boss, man.
Billy Mike, we're just gonna let you know right now at value who might be left, who you might want to get. You got Brock Purdy. You got. Okay, you're about to be on the clock.
Okay, here we go.
Let us know who's left first, and then we'll let you know.
And then you want this to be the final piece,
Kyler Murray, right? Probably Kyler Murray. I'd say would be probably a good pick.
That's a good pick there,
right?
Because you got a mobility quarterback in your super flex spot where you have Burrow, the more pocket established throwing passer in your lineup.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 2 minutes to type this up and send it to us, bro. So
it's been a good show, though. 2 hours.
I love it. This has been great, Sid.
Yeah, it's been really interactive. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, you're watching. In case you're just joining, you're watching Shady Sports Fantasy Reports, Fantasy Football Reports on Shady Sports Network. We got Philly Mike's team. We'll go ahead and post this up. Or I guess it's still available. Jonathan Taylor, Travis Etienne, AJ Brown, Kyler Murray, Dak, Tua, Purdy, Herbert.
You gotta take Purdy, bro,
and DJ Moore. Purdy
or Kyler Murray. I would take Kyler Murray.
Purdy or Murray are your two best options here in a super flex. I mean,
yeah, Murray
over
or
Dak
Purdy,
and Tua.
You already have the established pocket passer Joe Burrow as your QB1, and Tua and Dak don't offer you.
Yeah, you gotta take Murray with the legs.
Herbert has more question marks with being injured and having a less effective offense this year. I am not personally in a super flex taking a running back or a wide receiver as my second pick.
First couple rounds, yeah, no way. It's already that slim, though. It appears.
Yeah. So if you do go that route between JT or ETN, I would personally take Jonathan Taylor over ETN.
Volume.
If you decide to go the running back route.
We got Murray.
Okay.
We got Murray.
You got legs. You got some mobility. You got some rushing touchdown opportunity, rushing touchdown or rushing yards with Murray. And you just have to rely on Joe Burrow staying healthy and throwing you 400, 300-yard games and a few touchdowns.
And you got Marvin Harrison Jr. with Murray now, too.
That should be a target.
Deep threat. Good route runner. Young legs.
That'd be a phenomenal stack if you can somehow pull Marvin Harrison Jr. on your roster with Murray as your super flex QB.
Yes, I 100% agree with that. Don't go taking him next if there's a better value.
Yeah.
If he's there and it's around that ADP, then stack.
Sid, where's your draft at? Who are you taking? I'm curious. We did I think we missed your first.
Yeah, no, I'm in the 9th round. I'm actually picking now. So it's
tell us. We'll help you, bro.
We got Smith and Jigba, Cortland
JSN.
Sutton. Yeah. Cortland Sutton, Reed, Addison, Worthy.
We already know who you're taking in that situation.
Cortland Sutton, right? I'm taking Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, that's all you all day, bro.
Yeah, I stopped listening once you said Sutton because I know what you.
Well, I was hoping Javonte was there. He was there a couple seconds ago.
Ooh, yeah,
so,
for sure.
All right, we got Dynasty League, Daniel Varty. I know I can't get the so far. Okay, so my team so far, right? Don't laugh at my team. It's
not
it's
at all,
hard.
dude.
I'm 9, so it's hard picking 9 in a 10-team league. But I got Jonathan Taylor, my first pick. AJ Brown, Nico Collins, Sam Laporta, Lamar Jackson, Zamir Wright, Aaron Jones, Chris Godwin, and Cortland Sutton.
Dude, Aaron Jones.
You got Justin's go-to all-star.
Yeah, you got the champ.
You got the AJ Brown, Nico Collins.
Yes.
Run. Those are great number ones. Taylor, awesome. Laporta, you get in the 4th round of every draft you've ever done.
He knows it, dude. He's a villain, man.
What do you think about Singletary in the 10th round?
About you and Sam Laporta in 4, but I'm going to put money on him week 4 of the NFL.
and you just practice him what Shawnee proved with tonight with the mock draft at 9. He took AJ Brown. You just mirrored that and showed that method and that can work with your drafts.
Dude, we're blowing
that's great
up.
there.
You got Taylor first though, and then you got him on the swing.
I'm impressed you pulled that out. You got Taylor before Brown. I personally would have went Brown over Taylor.
Philly Mike,
that was hard.
A dynasty draft, dude. You're in a dynasty draft. You're not going to worry about Sam Laporta right now.
Oh, no. That is round 4 or 5 or beyond. That's not a priority for you.
We're not talking tight ends for you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mike said to get rid of Diggs and take that trade. So this is Daniel. Daniel put this up earlier.
Okay. Oh yeah, sorry.
For a trade. So he gives Diggs, he gets Godwin, Mike Williams, and Dobbins.
I'm biased on this one, dude. I got a good feeling about Diggs, and if I have him, I'm not getting rid of him. I'm not getting rid of him for a hurt Mike Williams.
Mike Williams is hurt. Dobbins is hurt too, right?
You guys laid it out perfectly. Like Godwin, how I did the previous trade we brought up. You take the highest risk player variances in this equation, and that's Mike Williams and Dobbins. They have an injury history, and they also have a performance history of having spike games and bust games. So now it really comes down to, do you prefer Godwin this year and his potential, or Diggs and that offense and his potential? And 9 times out of 10, I'm leaning the Diggs side, regardless of bias and whatnot. I feel like Diggs, with the quarterback situation, the offense of how that could potentially be a ceiling there, you have way too much value over Godwin, where Godwin is the number 2 option to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers offense, whereas Diggs has the potential is a key word here, of being Stroud's number 1 this year.
And he has Stroud. So you're keeping Diggs for sure.
Yeah, I personally love stacks. I love the bonuses. I live by that sword and I die by that sword.
I wonder if I can get Stroud.
It works.
Dude, I can get
you were saying
I can get Caleb Williams. Should I get him?
Who else is available at quarterback?
Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Herbert. It's gonna be like the 11th round by the time I pick again.
Yeah, that I'm fine with you taking Caleb Williams there then over Purdy.
Yeah, I think
because that would be the only next closest quarterback to me.
Or would you take Brock Bowers if he's available?
Oh, he has even though he's on the Raiders and it's a not ideal premier situation, I get that. But this man coming out of college is a huge prospect, has huge comparability to be the next Travis Kelce for the next decade.
Right.
If that pops, you got a solid set it and forget it, tight end positional value week in and week out in your league. End of discussion. But you also could get that with Caleb Williams. That's what you're competing with. Do you want to have that at quarterback with Caleb Williams, or would you rather have that at tight end with Bowers? For me personally, I would go the Bowers route because the tight end typically has more of a drop-off on player tiers when it comes to the tight end, because it's the top 3 or 5, and then it's just play at your own risk. Where at quarterback, you have the top 12 or 15, and then play at your own risk. So you have less of a threshold of busting out at the position by going with Bowers than you do with Caleb, because he could end up how nobody wants and not necessarily bust out. That's a harsh, extreme word, but it could be you're not getting that value that you thought you were getting at drafting and what high as you were, where you have a lower risk with Bowers because there's not that much competition at that position at this moment.
Oh, looks like we lost Shawnee. Probably.
Yeah. What the heck?
I know. I just saw that. So like Mike said Diggs is in a crowded wide receiver field and agent, especially in a dynasty league. Nico is number 1, and Tank Dell is definitely going to be, So, I guess, looking at it that way in a dynasty, I don't know. It's kind of hard. It depends on where you're going with your season, right? The rest of your team, right? Like what
certainly
the rest of it looks like. we got Shiny back. There you go.
And I'm more than comfortable with being wrong in that scenario, but I'd rather put my chips and my bets on the dig square than would be for Godwin because.
Yeah, man. If there was more upside to the other end of that trade, I would take it. But there's just not, dude. With CJ Stroud as your quarterback, Tank Dell and Nico Collins prone to injury like they are, Stephon Diggs is still going to eat, man. He's still going to have touchdowns. He's going
to be wide receiver 1 in that room. I don't care what no one says.
Shani, what do you think about his question between Bowers and Caleb
Godwin
here?
Is the flex at best.
Agreed. I lean the more Bowers side of it, but where is your input on? He's deciding between Caleb, Williams, Purdy, or Bowers.
I mean, damn,
Purdy's gone, I think.
Purdy's gone? Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I was just running through him in the sense of you have more of a drop-off variance going with Caleb Williams where you're taking because he has to be within the top 12 to 15 range where you're drafting him for this year. Is it dynasty or redraft?
It's a redraft.
It's redraft.
Brock Bowers just got taken up.
Then that makes it easier for you.
In my opinion, with Gardner Minshew at quarterback and Michael Mayer still on that roster, Brock Bowers still has some proving to do and some eye tests to know what kind of work he's going to get. We know that Caleb Williams is the starting quarterback for the Bears with weapons around him. So that's what's going to sway.
Yeah. Bowers is more of the long term.
The Raiders saw him left on the board during the draft, and they said they would be stupid to come around and not have taken him. Yeah. They needed a running back. They didn't.
Their hands are tied
because, So it's got to be Williams.
It's the Raiders.
It's gonna be Williams for sure.
Mike is still arguing, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he makes a good point because right now, because we haven't seen any sample size with all three of them there at the same time on the field performing, it's a preference base. And if you're doing preference base, I would prefer Diggs, even though the risk of Tank and Nico versus taking on the Godwin and the risk of having some semblance of production with Dobbins and Mike Williams.
I agree. And Mike, not to say that your decision is the wrong decision. It's just not the decision.
He said you wrong, Mike. He said you wrong. I heard him. I heard it.
And at the end of the day, you're putting this up against one thing. We're putting it against several. You just think that because the room's so big, there's no way it can be Diggs. Why? Why can't it be Stephon Diggs over Nico Collins or Tank Dell? Why?
It will be Stephon Diggs. That's why they brought him in. Why would they go get him and bring him in when they felt like they had it already?
I agree with what he did in Buffalo with Josh Allen, dude. Come on. Even with the running quarterback and a good backfield, that dude was still
running. Yeah, he was still
putting on the GM cap here for me. It's a win-win. You pay Nico Collins wide receiver 1 money as an insurance policy. We have our wide receiver 1 here. You got an aging, proven top 10 wide receiver on the market. Bring him in to retool and ensure that wide receiver room. And then keep cultivating and developing Tank Dell as potentially wide receiver 3.
And
give as many options and all it does is help Stroud. There's nowhere in this scenario where this is hurting Stroud or any of their values. They're all going to have a role and a piece here. It's just what horse you want to bet on. It's what horse out of these 3 wide receivers do you believe is going to have that? There's no wrong answer. It's all preference based, and we won't know
week to week.
Exactly, we won't know.
Be very relevant.
We could have a Diggs week. What it does is it creates
rooms
it creates more of a variance of. So from week to week, it's just the same wide receiver room with the Packers, I believe. It could be a Watson week. It could be a Reed week. It could be a Dobbs week.
week.
We don't know. It could be a Diggs week. It could be a Dell week. It could be a Collins week. We don't know. We don't know how those offenses are going to operate with those weapons at their disposal. We could also have, too, a hot hand situation. 2-3 weeks, it's Nico Collins. Everyone gets hot and wet about that. Trade him while he's high or whatever. Get other pieces of value. Then later on in the season, it could be Tank Dell for 2 or 3 weeks. Then for your playoff push, you've been relying on those 2 other guys, and out of nowhere, Stephon Diggs wins you your championship because he blows up in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's all risk, though. It is. It's risk versus reward, but I would rather have him over Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, or Dobbins in that scenario.
I've been burned by Mike Williams a couple times, so it leaves a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. But also, he's old too.
All right. He's a Jet,
yeah. So
he's injured.
Yeah, he's hurt right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I don't see Mike Williams demanding a potential target share that Diggs could. Where in the Jets offense, it's going to be Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, and then Garrett Wilson. Yeah, and Breece Hall. Yeah, but as far as the receiving room, Rodgers is going to look at Wilson, and if Williams is healthy on the field, that's going to be his second or third, probably third read after Breece. It's going to be either Breece or Wilson, and then Williams.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. I do have Diggs, but that's in Dynasty where I wouldn't get rid of him. Have I drafted him in any new drafts? No, I have not. But I also am sure as shit not going out of my way to draft Mike Williams, J.K. Dobbins, or Chris Godwin, unless it's Godwin at the value.
Yes, agreed, Mike. Yeah,
because I only have Diggs. That's why I like him there. I gotta have him perform because he's on my dynasty team.
Well, shoot. All right, guys. And with that, someone drafted a defense before me.
Oh, here we go. Let's see it. Seth. What's going on here?
Yo, I was about to draft my defense. Someone picked up the Ravens in the 12th round. I was gonna get them in the 13th.
Well, get the Niners or the Jets if they're there.
Yeah, but I was actually gonna get them on the swing around. I think.
Okay.
I feel like someone's watching this.
You want to get Brandon Aubrey.
I know. I'm tempted to pick him up, but I'm trying to wait until the end of the draft to get my.
Well, here, where you're at, who do you believe more is going to be a factor on your lineup at this point? A kicker that you believe in, or settling for a defense that wasn't your first option that you hope can?
Man, I'll get the Texans defense though.
That's a solid option.
That's a good option, I feel.
Dude, on team defenses, I literally stream week to week.
Yeah, I know you do.
I don't like where I'm
at. You go off and you
just, in my home league, I didn't even draft on my home league on Friday. I did not draft a defense.
Yeah.
So my plan is I'm hoping to swing a 2-for-1 trade. Yeah.
Well, guys, I am gonna jump off. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to stay on.
I gotta head out too. I haven't even eaten.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I got on and here for the ride. So
hey, we've been going strong though. This is a good episode.
Fantastic.
I look forward to everybody that was here tonight coming back next week. Let's see you guys. Come on.
Yes, guys. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time.
You can tell we're getting in the thick of it.
Huh?
You can tell we're getting in the thick of it.
Yeah, we're getting there, man. We're days.
Feed your starving hosts. We love it. We want feed us. Bring us more
fantasy football.
Yeah, less than 2 weeks away. So we'll definitely be back on. Coming back on before that Thursday night game. I think we have a show next Tuesday before.
Okay.
Or do we?
Hey guys, if you don't have Cash App, download the Cash App and use the code on our promo, and it'll help you pay your buy-in.
There you go.
And if you go on Manscaped and you get the lawnmower after you win your championship and you get a blowjob, she won't get curly stuck in her teeth.
I don't know about that. That's it. Yeah, that's Shawnee's own speaking there. But yeah, we're you know what it is. So,
I'm the cancel guy.
All right, guys. But hey, it's been real, guys. Thank you guys for joining us.
Good night.
Check us out Sunday for Bandwagon if you want to talk football, not just
last
fantasy
thing.
football.
So we got this 12 team. Oh man, Saif. Thanks for joining us, man. You're coming in.
Yes, thank you.
I can't even comprehend.
Look, the
His
12
team is
team.
Richardson, Hall, Warren, MHJ,
Dude, yeah,
Drake London, Andrews, Cooper Cup, and his bench is Lad McConkey, Benson, Hawkinson, Cousins, Brooks, and Wicks. And he's a running back too. Oh shoot, did I pick yet?
I think that's solid. I mean, Brooks will come on your second half of the year, and that could be your running back too.
Yeah.
Javonte Williams.
Warren just said he was healthy and he's going to play. So.
I think this is a great draft so far. I think just, you'll be in a good position once Hawkinson and Brooks come back mid-season, and you're set at tight end in that second running back spot.
Yeah, you do know that Hawkinson's out, right? I hope you knew that, but
I know he's out.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to put him, if you want to draft him and then throw him in the IR,
exactly, and
so
then pick up a Greg Dulcich
in his IR, and he has injuries anyway.
I have been taking late as a stash. Darnell Washington for the Steelers
too, though.
Who?
J.J. McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Who lost their quarterback? Oh, Hawkinson.
Yeah,
Minnesota. Yeah,
Sam Darnold's about to be a beast. Beast out there.
There's a lot of people here in Minnesota who agree with that evaluation.
Plug and
the
play.
Other half are really looking forward to next year for where JJ comes back.
It was an easy playbook. They had it ready for JJ, so it was an easy playbook. Plug and play. Oh, it's my draft.
Come on, going.
I'm thinking about Chandler only because I got Aaron Jones, and I feel like that'd be a solid little cuff maybe.
Or Javonte, did you say was available?
No, he's not available. Someone took him. There's Chase Brown.
I'd still probably go Chandler over Brown for the handcuff.
Yeah. Edwards. Gus Edwards. I go. It's the end of the draft. It's kind of nobody.
If you go Edwards, you're banking on that he's the starter over Dobbins the entire year.
What about Algier?
That's a great handcuff.
I feel like that's a solid handcuff. He got.
I have him in my rankings higher as a handcuff than Chandler solely on the fact that if Bijan something were to happen to him, God forbid, Algiers, that's his backfield. Whereas if something, God absolutely forbid, happens to Aaron Jones, I think Chandler is going to be still battling for touches with another running back. There'll be a running back by committee approach because that's how Minnesota's really handled their running back room the last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh man, still.
All right, boys. On this note, I am going to really get off of here and wish everybody the best in their drafts coming up. Please join us next week, and please like and subscribe. Shady Sports Network Fantasy Reports. This has been Shawnee signing off. Said Justin, I love y'all. See you next week.
Hey, yeah. All right, Shawnee. Yeah, same thing. I mean, like you said, check us out. You can go on YouTube, Shady Sports Network, and then look up the playlist, Fantasy Reports, Fantasy Football Reports. Look us up on the hashtags. We're everywhere. You can look up at 303 Bandwagon. You'll find our videos and our shorts all over as well too. So, with that being said,
let's get this host some food.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Justin, you got anything?
Just hey, if you want to keep this train rolling, I know I work in the morning, but regardless, feel free to send your questions, your teams, your draft strategies, anything off after the show goes dark on Sleeper and Discord. My handle is Teixeira, as it's spelled in the description here on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, and I'll do it as promptly as I can, and with the same information I give you here on this show, I'll give you in a DM and just do my best to help you with your team and what route you decide to go and give you my personal input on it. I'd be more than willing and happy to help you. But
and
also,
then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just saying, first and foremost, please, if you liked what you saw tonight, if you liked what you heard tonight, if you liked what was coming at you, please share that. Please spread it. We'd like to help and be a part of as many people in the fantasy football world as possible, because we truly love and care about doing this for you guys as much as well as for ourselves. We love and enjoy doing this. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't.
Yeah, and join our group, Shady Sports Fantasy Football Reports on Facebook, Shady Sports Fantasy Football Reports, as well as Shady Sports Network. But join the group, Shady Sports Fantasy Football Reports. Post those teams, keep those teams in there. That'd be a good place to put those in. Put your questions, and then we'll be able to go back and touch base, and we'll get those on the next episode after you get them on there. So yeah, get that information on there. We'll check those. We all have access to it. Me, myself, Seany, and Justin. So we'll get those answers to you on those questions, and we'll go ahead and rank those teams for you. Just whatever you need, just get some interaction going. Let's keep this network growing, right? That's the goal, is everybody will want to bring you together and talk fantasy sports. So it's been great having this interaction. I thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Always come back and check us. Shady Sports Network, Fantasy Football Reports. Catch us again, and like I said, every Tuesday. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. And like Justin said, hit him up on Sleeper if you want to keep it going tonight, or hit us up on the group, Fantasy Football Reports. We look forward to it. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week as well. Let us know how your drafts went, and we're getting ready for the season. We're there, guys. We are there. So have a great night, guys. It's been fun. It's been real. Love you guys, and I will see you next week.
Peace.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.